AC24, Just a Messenger, the Jesse Glad, Saget, Monroe, Victory. Shout out to all you guys. Once again, we got a special guest rolling with us again today. You guys know the deal, man. Let's roll.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday panel. As Robin was alluding, we have Sports Tea joining us. Uncommon and Uncut have invites if they want to join the party. We've got 93Z, we've got Speam Engine, obviously Sports and Fitness Rants. We have Hoops God. And what did I have on the stage? Why would I ever put that picture up there? Well, you guys remember back when I had a bad video and I had strained my left retina, and that was why. So, like LeBron James, always a reason for failure.
I thought you were being serious for a second, talking about a strain something or other.
Maybe I am. Ask ESPN. ESPN will clear it up for you.
Yo, shout out to John Rod. Shout out to Monroe, Hakeem Olajuwon. Shout out to Personal Freedom, King Speech Row, Italian Laguna Beach.
Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Nick Tri-State, King Speech, JD, and HD. What's up with y'all boys, man?
Got a lot of new members coming in. Welcome. Appreciate you, members.
The Sunday of excuses, Sunday of blame.
The Sunday of excuses.
How much time should I set aside for today?
I guess it depends on how we keep rolling. You know how we do.
I'm good for a few hours.
Okay. Well, I can't sit still longer than that. So 2 hours. Man, everybody, we have been flooded, absolutely flooded with bullshit from ESPN. Can't keep up.
AOH, real quick. I'm sorry, real quick. Shout out to Michael Knight calling me the Timu Richard Jefferson. Go ahead. I want to point it out before somebody else does.
Calling you the what?
Timu Jefferson.
Timu?
Look, it's the black people thing. Just look it up. I just wanted to get that out there.
Why are you included?
Give credit where it's due. That's all. That's good, man. That's funny. That was good. That was well played.
That's crazy, man. Oh my god.
Okay, Zay, you're next to me on the panel up there. Why don't you tell me what is eating away at you that you want to mention first? We got a big list of things to get to today, people, and I'm sure all our viewers had things that they want us to talk about too. Zay, pick one if you can.
We got to talk about James Harden, man. We got to talk about James Harden. Harden, where are you?
I don't think anyone on this panel didn't expect that. He's as predictable as Doc Rivers, right?
Yes, man. This is sick. A guy that constantly forces his way out, forces players out. He's the baby LeBron James. James Harden is officially baby LeBron.
Did I see Kawhi Leonard looking a little bit disgusted?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
They even asked him after the game. They was like, Kawhi, do you think you guys can keep building upon what you did this season? He was like, I don't know. I don't know right now, man.
Mr. Quiet and Emotionless is even like showing some disgust.
Yeah, this is.
I don't think Sports Tea is here. Sports Tea, are you here? Okay. Yeah. Robin, you go next since I can see your face.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about the excuses and the blame that's been going on in relation to, the Lakers, LeBron James, and the Minnesota Timberwolves series, I guess the one thing I would say is everyone's making excuses for the Lakers, but no one's really giving the Minnesota Timberwolves their just due. So I guess for me, I'll say, how come no one on ESPN is giving Minnesota their just due for going out there and beating the Lakers instead of everybody out there trying to make excuses for LeBron James, man?
How about Hoops God? There's his face. Come on that screen.
Oh man. I just want to say, how is it that Darvin Ham, he took the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals, in his first season. But we get Mr. Know-It-All, aka Socrates. It's about percentages, makes, and attempts. You go out in the first round, right? Why they not keeping that same energy? Because I'm saying that because I expected LeBron to lose. If you look at his track record, he's going to lose before he wins. So that didn't shock me. I'm trying to understand how Darvin Ham, who outperformed JJ Redick at his rookie season, lost his job. But we don't hear any of that flack from JJ Redick. I would say other than maybe 2 of ESPN's pundits, but all the rest of them are, oh, we got to give JJ a little bit more time. Nah, hell nah. That's some bullshit. And that really bothers me. Like, nah, I want Darvin Ham to be reinstated right now.
Well, you know what they're going to say, that the Lakers got the 3rd seed. They still failed, but they got the 3rd seed. Is that, I mean, Spain is, how are they going to bail? How are they going to bail JJ out?
Well, just like you said, they're saying it's the first 50-win season since 2018, they said, but it was only a 3-game difference, right? So the label of first 50 game looks a lot better than a 47-game win season. And then the 3rd seed, but the difference amongst seeds was what? A game and a half, like from seeds 1 through 8. Nobody talks about that. They just talk about the big ticket numbers. What I'm noticing is, and kind of going back to what Robin was saying, they're not giving they're giving Anthony Edwards credit by calling him the quote unquote king killer or whatever, saying LeBron passed the crown to him, blah blah blah. But it's just indirectly calling LeBron the best player in the league or the best player of all time by saying he's passing these reins on to Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards didn't even play that great, especially in the game that mattered. So it was just again a forceful kind of narrative situation. And games 1 through 5, I pulled the transcripts of the questions that the media was actually asking LeBron in the post-game pressers, and we can get into it a little bit later. But for somebody who played as embarrassing as he did in the 4th quarter, I didn't find one question from the media about that at all.
Wow, good research.
Thank you.
We will come back to that. We got to tap into
Okay.
You actually covered a lot there, but that gets our minds going. Everyone in the chat, how much of this you want to come back to? And I'll say one thing, saying that Anthony Edwards didn't play that great is the understatement of the year. And you're absolutely right. People talking about he was the best player on the court. Let's catch up with some super chats. And then we will dig into everything a little bit deeper. Praise the Dawn says, shout out to the panel. What is Hoops God's channel? Go ahead and tell them, Hoops God.
Oh, my apologies. I had to come
Wake
off.
up, who got?
No.
Forget it.
No,
Forget it. This is
just
what you
type
get
in
when you go to his channel. Just fuck it. Don't waste your time.
Just type in at the Hoop God _23. I should come up, but if not, let me know, and I'll have to go, and I'll go back and I'll check my page again. But it should come up when you put in Hoop God 23. I appreciate that, sir. Just a messenger. I sincerely do.
Just a messenger says, we have proof AOH is on that Balco juice. No way he could recover from the devastating eye and arm injuries so fast. Hey, I went to the AOH of eye doctors.
That's awesome.
Real quick. Do we have anything more definitive yet than a source told Dave McMenamin as far as the knee injury? Can I hear from an actual doctor? Can I hear from LeBron's trainer? What is this? A source told Dave McMenamin, who of course then carried out LeBron's bidding by providing an excuse for everyone to talk about. You guys, if anyone has heard, anyone in the chat, if anyone's heard anything more concrete than more hearsay about LeBron's injury.
If I may interrupt, AOH, yeah. Did you not see him limping after the game?
That's all we needed. Okay, my bad.
Really bad limp. It was bad.
No, hey, when he finishes, I want to add to that.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure you saw that. That's better than hearing it from a doctor.
Who was that came over and hugged him while he was limping?
Was that Savannah?
Nah, it wasn't.
I don't know. It was a white girl. No, never mind.
It wasn't. Nah.
There was a boy.
That was not Savannah.
That was not Savannah.
Who was that white woman? That voluptuous white woman, man.
Voluptuous. Don't people need to have a shape to be voluptuous? You don't just get to be big. You need to have some shape.
I use the wrong word.
Think about how many times we just use the word voluptuous when we talk about basketball.
Okay, LT says just showing love. Thank you, LT. Top Dog says, what was you guys' thoughts on the Lob City Clippers? We will get to that. We are done with LeBron. We don't need to put that. Needs to retire now. We will celebrate. No, he is not going to retire. Are you kidding? I will celebrate like it's 1999 when he announces retirement. Keep spitting that truth. I got to tell you, I can't imagine how painful the retirement tour is going to be because he looks like he's been in a retirement home for 7 years and is out there.
LH, the real question we should be asking ourselves and we should be thinking about is, will LeBron James play all 82 games during that retirement ceremony, going through the whole season? Is he going to miss any of those games? Is he going to miss that glory, that moment to walk out and have, hey, LeBron James coming out his last season? How many games is he going to play that season?
Sure. And he would have, the coaches that he controls will force him not to play all 82. That'll be the only reason, just like this year. Who are you guys rooting for in the playoffs? That's a good question. Geez, the great thing about when LeBron gets kicked out is that I can really sit down and concentrate on who I give a shit about.
I mean, listen, the two goofballs got knocked out. James Harden and LeBron James.
Yeah.
Goofs.
James Harden is sick, man. He's a sick man. This guy needs to stay out of the strip clubs, and I got proof that James Harden needs to stay out of the strip club.
Put some respect on little game James Harden. He always shrinks in the biggest moments, okay? Respect little game James.
Maybe he needs the strip clubs. Maybe he cuts out the strip clubs during the playoffs, and that's what goes wrong. Because there's no way. Do any of us think he's not going to the strip clubs in the regular season?
I assume he just lives in one, like he has a basement setup situation down there.
He's got a bed in the VIP.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's
nobody's talking about to answer the question. Cleveland, no, I hate to say it as a Pittsburgh guy, but the Cavs, man, that's I can't even imagine them winning a chip, but them winning one, especially without what's his face. I'm gonna try not to say his name. Without what's his face would just be beautiful. Especially the same, maybe he retires next season, and then we can just kind of put a book into all this. And I like Donovan Mitchell. He's not talked about enough for as flashy as he is. I mean, his handle's crazy. He has a jumper. He can dunk. I mean, he jumps out the building, and nobody ever talks about him.
I mean, because who are they busy talking about? Even in losses, exactly. Even in failure.
Yeah.
But we can put Donovan Mitchell's underwear commercial on the screen if you'd like, Spam.
No.
Man, that shit.
If we're gonna refer to shit, then we need to talk about how Robin said my name all weird during the stream. If we're
I still don't recall this.
Yeah.
James Crute says always an excuse to leave a super chat. Hey, awesome. You can use any excuse you want.
Thank you very much.
Let's personal freedom. Why do they keep down Jokic? He is the king killer. Plus, why did Adrian Griffin get fired? Doc Rivers is a joke. I'm sure we'll get to that. I'm going to read Jesse Glad Saget. Jim Harden is the Michelangelo of choking and elimination games. Elimination games are his Sistine Chapel. Thank you, Jesse Glad Saget. That's a good one. And look who's here. Welcome, Sports Tea, to the Sunday panel.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the tardy to the party.
Fashionably late. I like it.
Being a gentleman, I waited to open my new bottle of champagne until you were here.
First round on you, man.
Yeah, I'll pour everyone a glass and then proceed to drink those.
I love it.
Sports Tea. I asked everyone, my God, has ESPN put a bunch of shit on us to wade through?
I know.
I'm giving you a semi-difficult question out of everything that you've listened to and done shows on, what is eating at you the most?
It's so tough, Angry Old Hood. That is the hardest question that I've had to answer, because it's all these lies we're sifting through, right? Between Mind the Game, then we're sifting through just these playoff series, right? So we have the narratives, the media working overtime right now with the lay excuses. So we have a lot to chew on, a lot to debunk, and I can't work fast enough. I have my full-time job, I have my full-time job. I can't work fast enough on this stuff. I'm still, I still have this whole show with like Shaq and a bunch of different ways that like the NBA is soft, and LeBron, from like back in 2008. I have this whole comparison show that I haven't even been able to do because of all the current nonsense that we have to cover. So
I know exactly what you mean. When everybody, I'm sure they do it on your channel because these LeBron fans just like copy and paste. They don't actually think. I'm sure some of them have said on your channel, even though you're brand new, pretty new, what are you going to do when LeBron retires? Well, you have a lot of projects.
It's never going to end. Right? It's never going to end. So like, even when LeBron retires, it's like, he's here to stay. So we're going to have content for the rest of our lives. Because he's never going anywhere. Imagine LeBron imagine him sitting something out, anything. Right. Could you imagine that?
Yep, real.
LeBron ain't going anywhere. He's going to cause us pain in new ways.
Look, when Caitlin Clark wins her first title, whenever that may be, he's going to be right there somehow taking credit for her title. Anything that happens.
Oh no, Sports T. He's going to be sitting there telling people, I told y'all at Iowa State, man, she was the one.
Right. Bruh. Oh, yeah.
Do you ever stop?
When she was a baby, I just knew she was going to be the one.
That's right.
Is it going too far to call him LaHerpes?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Why you always got to go dark with it, man?
It's always there.
Oh,
celebration
time.
It shows up. It shows up when you least want it to.
Hey, AOH, pop bottles.
That's the line. Okay, that's the line we're not going to cross. Okay, got it. Okay, all right.
On camera is not the time where I want to actually fail being able to open something for the first time.
Hey,
we now have two ladies, so hopefully the guys on the chat don't get weird.
So, are you making terrible jokes?
No, the herpes is going to catch up. Watch. You wait.
Hey, Speem, a point that you made earlier, I wanted to come back to. So, you do realize that there's a... Do I have a lag?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So a point that you made earlier, I wanted to double back to. I didn't realize this until I went back and watched the real Crime Mind. Go follow him, because I always want to give people credit who uncovered things. But in 2010, I didn't realize he faked an elbow injury, right? So when they played the Chicago Bulls, he shot a free throw with his right hand. He made it, and it put him up by 4. Then he subsequently takes a left-handed free throw, and of course he misses it, right? The first thing the media says, there's something wrong with that elbow. No, the hell it's not. Now, what I was trying to understand is, you're going to play the Boston Celtics, right? This is where he starts planting these excuses if he loses. So they go up against Boston. He plays phenomenal in game 1. No flinching, no nothing, right? He loses game 2. He starts wincing in the end of the third quarter, like grabbing at the elbow. And I'm like, oh, so he was doing this back in Cleveland the first time, right? Let's fast forward. What happened? What happened in the 2018 finals? You punched the right board, right? Okay. But from May 31st to June 8th, you didn't need a cast. Now you get swept. You got to come to the podium with Savannah's scarf wrapped around your hand, talking about you had basically a broken hand. What? Wait a minute. You lose to the Denver Nuggets. Oh, yeah. My ankle was hurt. I'm like, wait a minute, man.
Was that uncut hoop that
mattered? Oh, go ahead, AOH.
I think it was uncut that included the elbow thing in a recent video. I had almost forgotten about that too. And
it's ridiculous.
I did the video about the cast thing. Do you guys see him slamming his fucking broken hand down on the podium during the press conference? Goddamn idiot. Zay, jump in here. You've been quiet for a little bit.
It's just, It's sick hearing this stuff, man. It's just sick. This guy's pretending that a little DiVincenzo caused him to sprain his MCL. But this guy's supposed to be a football player. I thought he was.
It happened on the flop, though. See, DiVincenzo didn't do it. The flop did it.
Yeah, it had to, because there was no knee-on-knee contact. If anything, he hit the back of his knee, the softer part of the knee. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make sense to me why they saying that. If we looking back, people say, oh, why are you talking about him at 40? Well, let's talk about him at 39, 38, 37. He's 12-2. Well, 2-12. I'm sorry. 2-12 over his last 14 playoff games. What more is there to talk about? How many times have we seen him disappear?
You know, it's interesting. Luka had some great games going into the playoffs. I was going back and looking at the box scores and looking at the media, and they literally said Luka puts on a masterclass. I'm just curious, was he out of shape during those games? Did he get out of shape from then to the playoffs? Because all of a sudden we're back to talking about being out of shape. And prior to that, I was hearing that LeBron James was going to be the one who was able to motivate him to be in shape. Forget all that. It's all gone.
Well, that's the main reason why these guys are always contradicting themselves. Because if you're always telling a lie here, you're always putting out a narrative there, then how are you going to have the facts? How are you going to keep yourself straight? You can't. So this is why I'm always telling people, LeBron James, his entire camp, they're the George Costanzas of the NBA. Everything they're living is a lie. They can't keep up with the lies. You know, a couple of points that Hoop God made is, one, what you're talking about is how long LeBron James has been doing these kinds of things, faking the injuries. You can go back years in his career. Another point that you made, Hoop God, is that LeBron James always seems to have to let you know that he's injured. He has to let you know about these things. When a lot of the great players, they just played through these injuries, and you didn't hear about them till later on down the road. They didn't make excuses, but LeBron James always had to let you know that he was dealing with something, man. That's really, shows that he's not a true competitor like that.
What's the worst faked one? That'd be an interesting question to go around the panel. I'm gonna read this super chat, but while I'm doing that, think, which of LeBron's fake injuries do you think was the most absurd and embarrassing for him to try and pull off? And everyone in the chat, you're welcome to chime in here too. It's Gemini Girl, one of our great followers. My favorite day of the week, the Sunday morning panel. I hate everything about Savannah's balding cretin of a husband. Wow. It's nice when someone meaner than me is on here.
Shout out to Gemini Girl.
Shout out to Gemini Girl for using the word cretin. That's great.
That was a bar.
He does. Wait, it's not even done. He does, in fact, have a bag of excuses. Welcome to the panel, Dominique.
Oh,
it's a pretty fantastic super chat.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gemini Girl.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but is the back screen against what was it, the Knicks? Isn't that not the craziest fake injury ever, where he acted like he broke his neck on that back screen? They called a flagrant 2 on it was when he was playing for the Heat.
Oh, Tyson Chandler screen?
The Tyson Chandler back screen. To me, that was the worst of the worst fakes ever. Like ever.
See, the reason I don't include that one is because Tyson Chandler was actually moving and hit him in the back. Obviously, he sold it. Obviously, it was exaggerated. Obviously, it was absurd. I mean, Van Gundy even called it absurd. And, these guys are paid to protect LeBron. But the ones where there's no contact at all and he makes that same motion are the worst ones to me.
I'm just going to go with LeBron James being carried off with the cramps. I'm just going with that. That is insane.
Hey,
there's so many.
Let's not get carried away, guys. Okay, let's not get carried away.
Who's got which one is yours?
So AOH, I was really thinking about this. I think he broke his hand when he picked up his purse and he walked out of that press conference. Remember, the guy was asking him those questions and he just, put his shades on. And when he reached down, because I think you posted this, AOH,
I did.
The first broken hand, he picked the purse up, and I believe he might have torn some ligaments because it looked like that purse was really heavy. So if I'm gonna just go out on a limb, I'm gonna say, yeah, that was the issue that caused the hand, Not
it was his papers. It was his grading papers because he was dressed as a professor. He had to bring out an apple in his broken hand. I mean, his accessories were more important than his fucking injuries.
That has to be the one.
Grab the apple.
Dominique, did you come up with one that was worse than all the others?
So here's the thing is that I was wondering, is this really about, I thought we were going to be talking about like the best faked moments in this season because there's so many.
Oh,
so this is an all-time fake list because when we talk about all-time, the cramping and, 2011, that's the greatest all-time meltdown that we've ever seen in the history of sports. Like, let's be for real.
I got to tell you.
And what about when he said he needed to be sedated?
Oh my God.
The sedation news. Like, come on, guys. Between sedation, LeCramp.
You're right. We should have limited it to a season.
Because we know it's 2010, 2009, 2010, 2011. Those are the all-time biggest LBJ fakes. And then from this season, I mean, the La Peekaboo when he's laying on the floor, like peeking to see if, he's going to get the call. Even the DiVincenzo thing, that was a flop, guys. Like, I know he ran into DiVincenzo, but like he softened his own blow. You see him soften himself and jerk himself back onto the floor. That was a flop. That wasn't a real thing. So when he did that, if you guys notice, he went out of the game. The game before that, right? He played a whole half. They were tired. They were gassed, blah, blah, blah. He was just taking a break. Pretending to be injured, it was so that he could get a rest. He needed to rest. He was gassed. He was already tired. Him and Luka are both tired. As soon as the second quarter, maybe the second half hits, they're both gassed. Between Luka being fat, him being old, can't play defense. It's a mess.
Hey, stop body shaming that man.
Has everybody seen that Luka before American Food highlight? Anybody see that?
No.
Who's the guy? Do you guys have you guys seen the graphic of that celebrity that they show him as? It's a totally different person. It's this like bigger guy. I just don't remember what his name is. His name Dan. He reminds me of the guy that passed away, but that's not him. He looks just like him though. John Candy, but it's not him.
Roethlisberger.
That must be. Sorry, I can't figure out who it is, but it's hilarious. There's so many nicknames. I call him Donut Doncic, Lard Ass Luka, Dad Bod Doncic. I mean, but look, he's dominating the NBA.
Luka Vandross. Luka
Hookah.
Someone said Chris Farley in the chat.
I think it might be.
Rest in peace to Chris
Farley. Yeah, I think that's who it is.
Oh yeah, Chris Farley.
Yo, shout out to Chris Farley. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
The thing is, they've never said that Luka was athletic. He was finding a way to beat people with his slow-mo style. And so like to think that suddenly he just needs to like be in the gym more is going to solve things. He has a slow-mo style, period. And you can get in better conditioning with a trainer or whatever hardcore shit you do, but I don't think it makes you quicker. You know what I mean, Robin? Like you do a lot of training. Like one thing, I can stay in shape, but now that I'm old, I tell you, my first step is missing. The quickness goes away. I don't know if you can train quickness into your body the way youth gives you it, or never having the athleticism. I just don't think that athleticism, conditioning solves the being able to play defense part of it.
I agree with you.
I actually am in my breakdowns. I'm accidentally defending Luka because I see him trying. He just doesn't have the physical capability of doing it. And I don't think conditioning is going to solve that.
I hear you, but isn't that what watching film is for? Being able to see what moves a player has and being able to predict what moves he might use in a situation.
But to AOH's point, though, to his point, when you think about it, if you've never defended your whole life, you're not going to start. So it's not just that conditioning is not going to solve it. He's never been forced to defend. He's never done it. So if you've never done it, you're never going to, most likely. It's just like in a marriage, is that person really going to change so much? And if they change because you're asking them for a divorce, you're still probably going to leave. By that point, it's too late. That's why the Mavericks said no. And that's why they were knocked out in the first round, and on top of LeBron being 40. So you need that Mavericks team that he had to get to the finals, but there's no such thing as a slow-mo guard. That is the only thing I need to disagree with, because athletic guards are going to win titles. I've never seen a fat guard win a title. Even Jason Kidd, when he was 38, he was still playing lockdown defense with the Mavericks when he won that title with Dirk.
Especially in the finals, he was definitely playing lockdown defense.
I think that, but Luka Doncic is promoted, or I guess celebrated mostly, as being a skilled player. That's basically what he's, when you watch his game is predicated off of his, skills. It's not necessarily predicated off his athleticism. So when we think about his overall game and his effectiveness, it's based off of his skills, his abilities. So when we talk about, his size, 6'7" at that position is an advantage, physically. And you talk about his ball handling ability, his passing ability, his ability to shoot. Luka Doncic's thing that I'll give him credit for, is I've always seen him being a clutch time performer, a guy who's always made big time shots, has always elevated in these kind of moments. I've never really been a fan of his overall game necessarily, but I've always respected that about him. But when you watch him with LeBron James, this is the way LeBron James gets exposed, because you're not getting the best version of Luka Doncic, because you're not allowing Luka Doncic to be the best version of himself. Look at the first couple of games that he played with LeBron James. He was sitting, they said that was the first time in his career that he had gone under 20 points in 3 consecutive games. But why was that going on? Because it was Luka Doncic who was trying to figure it out. It wasn't LeBron James trying to figure it out. So these are the kinds of things that we have to think about when you talk about the overall optics of how Luka Doncic looked. Yeah, is he going to be out there guarding Anthony Edwards on defense? Hell no. That's not ever going to be his game. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad player or crappy. He's getting the blame right now.
Right. I mean, at some point you have to accept the accountability that you knew who you were getting, and you got rid of an incredible defensive player to bring in more offense. Now, Robin, you pointed out that there were some bumps when Luka arrived, and then they went on that winning streak. And what have I pointed out time after time after time? When Luka was allowed to be the man, they were winning. When LeBron came in and said, I want to be the leading scorer, they lost.
Right.
Now, so what happened between then and the playoffs? And let me add one more thing. The size thing, which is just absurd. Well, guess what? They beat the Rockets twice. The Rockets are huge. They beat the Rockets twice. How come they knew how to do that? They beat the Thunder. The Thunder aren't exactly small. And guess what? Jackson Hayes was playing in those games. All those bench guys that the ESPN says are shit, they were playing in those wins. And playing 20, 25 minutes, not 4 minutes.
Well, the difference
between ESPN, why aren't real analysts asking that? Not talking about conditioning, not talking about a shitty bench. How come they were winning? What happened between then and now? And that's got to be on JJ. A shitload of that's got to be on JJ.
Not just JJ, which the thing is the optics that were put out were that the keys were going to be handed to Luka, and this was going to be his team, and he was going to be empowered to be the leader. And the only time that took place is when LeBron, was hurt or tired, which was most of the time, right? There had to have been a clash within the locker room and within the coaching staff, because one person is saying, okay, we're going to give the team to Luka, while everything about how the team is operating is showing, no, this is still LeBron's team. So if I'm Luka, in the back of my mind, I'm sure there was a little bit of pettiness to him that, okay, you guys are going to do all this for me and expect me to play defense, but yet I'm out here busting my ass, and the leader of the team isn't even playing defense, and nobody's talking about how he's not playing defense.
That can't feel good.
No, it's got to feel terrible, and even worse, more so now, because they're talking about the percentage of blow-bys against Luka Doncic, and it's just like, I've never heard that stat before in my life. But now, all of a sudden, it's this vital piece to why the Lakers lost. A gentleman's sweep is because of Luka's blow-bys, not because of LeBron's fourth quarter collapse in 5 games, or his lack of defense. Or
I can show at least as many blow-bys on LeBron.
And now, not one person talked about that. No. That was never even brought up. Not once.
I will say this, and yes, they completely protected LeBron. It was LeBron and Rich Paul and the La Media. They decided, hey, we have to hurry up and get in front of this. We're going to have our excuses lined up. We're going to blame Luka Doncic, his conditioning, because people have already been saying that. So when you start with a lie in a narrative, like you include things that are true, and I have to say, Speem, last season they did a blow-by mixtape on Luka Doncic. They talked about the percentage. They talked about the percentage of blow-bys when they lost in the finals. So they're using his lack of conditioning, his lack of, like, Windhorst after the finals, he torched him. I mean, I've never seen Brian Windhorst get so angry about a player not playing defense than they did with Luka Doncic. They completely annihilated him. They annihilated him in the press the way that they did in the New York Times and Daily News for Carmelo Anthony when he was on the Knicks. Like, they torched him. So that piece is not true. But LeBron took that and was able to really use that so that he can remain scot-free and his, bum-ass GOAT legacy can be intact. Okay, so like, this is another first round exit for us. Let's hurry up and get in front of that narrative, because this is 6-7 seasons, first round knockouts, playing tournaments, but early exits. So this is all under LeBron's tenure. The Boston Celtics are about to eclipse them again with probably another title, right, on LeBron's head. So all of this looks bad for his legacy, even though he's stat padding. But I have to say, like, he's just using what's true about Luka, because two things can be true. He's awful in defense. He's fucking fat. Okay. And shows up to the NBA this way and got booted from the Mavs because of it. So those things are true.
And if anyone bought into that mixtape, if anyone bought into what Windhorst said last season, and then you went and traded for him, well, my God. And I'm so glad you remember that, because I did a reaction to that, and I started showing all of LeBron's blow-bys with Windhorst shitting on on Luka. I'm like, they see whatever they want to see.
They talk about Luka's conditioning. JJ Redick hasn't even said one critical word this season about LeBron. They should have traded. What they should have done is traded LeBron. Anthony Davis would have been a much better fit alongside Luka Doncic, a much better fit. But nobody wants to say that. But you can't get rid of LeBron, that no trade clause.
The legacy of the two franchises is an interesting point that you brought up, because, and if Kyrie hadn't gotten hurt, I've been watching Celtic City, which is pretty good series. If Kyrie hadn't gotten hurt, they may have gotten a chip then too, and LeBron doesn't even make it to the West or to the finals. And in the meantime, patiently, the Celtics are continuing to add banners while Los Angeles has become a laughingstock. You don't even get to put yourself in the conversation with the Boston Celtics anymore. You're a fucking laughingstock, and only delusional, dedicated LeBron fans will make any argument otherwise. Zay, I feel bad because you didn't even get to say your top injury, faked injury. And then I'm going to read some super chats. But Zay, did you want to tell us your number one fake injury before we move on?
My number one fake injury. I mean, I think y'all said some good points.
Right.
It's probably the Holy Trinity, man. It's no way that you're supposed to get sedated before a game because a teammate is fucking your mom. Like, my God, that is crazy to me. Sedated? How about get some boxing gloves? How about give him a black eye? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's your heart, man? You go that's how you know nobody respects him. Do you understand how disrespectful it is for a teammate to even look at your mom like that? Even play with you as a man about your mom like that? That is just my God. My teammate will have black eyes. That's just the fact. But then to get carried off the court, man. Like, they need to call the ambulance, get a stretcher to get this man off the court for cramping. That's embarrassing as well.
At the end of every,
too much pressure
like that.
At the end of every season, I think maybe I can finally start my compilation of LeBron's flops from that season. This last season, I was distracted with the whole nepotism thing and the no trade clause and fucking the Lakers over for the next year while being given credit. Oh, LeBron was willing to take less money to help. Oh, fucking bullshit. I've got to catch up on some super chats, everybody. Hang in there with me because we appreciate these supers. And everybody, welcome to the Celebration Sunday with our full house of fantastic panelists. And let me read Light Speed says, AOH, you're right. LeBron's, Kyrie's, and the Cavs points per game significantly increased immediately after Bogut's injury in 2016. Big turning point in the series. I think you must have been listening to me and Zay on Friday when I brought that up. We were talking about LeBron doesn't like physicality. Getting rid of Bogut in the middle opened up a whole new world for the Cavaliers. Thank you. I appreciate that super chat. Just a messenger says La broken hand, La ankle, La MCL, or La cramps. I agree with Robin. The cramps for the win. So much to choose from with someone in the GOAT conversation. Praise the Dawn says the fraudulent ped using wannabe GOAT just needs to go ahead and retire. Take him and his fairy fanboys out the NBA. Always an excuse with this dude. Always. Bada Nana says LeBron will retire from a flopping injury. Can you imagine?
The irony.
Just pretend, just fake your way out of the league. Hoops and Anime says in his defense on the sedated part, I mean, Delonte was banging his mom.
Well, that's tough.
There is no defense for that. You handle that shit before the game. What?
Hey, Chalmers told y'all nobody fears him. But when we give all these examples, they'll say we're hating. They'll just close their eyes and put the blindfold on like Bird Box.
Night Baller. I have a conspiracy that they made LeBron the face of the league because of Kobe's allegations. There's other ways to move on, though. There's other ways to move on. Even Kobe dug himself out of that.
There's so many other ways. They could have just picked somebody else currently playing. There was talent right there.
I distinctly remember that Kobe's jersey sales actually increased because people were supporting him in the middle of that, which I personally was a little disturbed by. I mean, he was accused of rape. I'm not sure that's the time to increase jersey sales, but you know, if you thought he was innocent, then in any case, the fans showed that you didn't have to abandon Kobe.
I mean, hey, listen, man, some guys are not tough. Some people are just not tough, man. That's the way it is. There's no problem with that necessarily. The problem comes in for LeBron James is what we're noticing right now. We don't even know which one to pick from. We don't know which episode to decide is the worst, the flop, the acting, the fake injury. It's all the same. Rolling around, holding your head, looking on your shoulder when nothing's there. All of these things we talk about. But the problem for LeBron James is that he promotes himself and they promote him as a guy who's durable, who's tough. He walks around flexing on people. It can't be both ways, my friend. You want to be tough, then you have to actually be tough. You have to walk the walk. You can't just talk the talk. And that's the problem for LeBron James, man.
What do we ask on here?
Also, real quick, part of that, Robin, is that they didn't really go the whole toughness and durability route until they realized he wasn't going to get past ring number 3.5, right? Once they realized that he's not going to get any more chips, okay, well, now we have to go on this longevity tour and how tough he is. But it's like with any other bully. Yeah, you can talk about being tough, but once you get hit in the face, like that's when reality hits you. And, you know, when someone, you saw what Gobert did, right? He elbowed him so viciously in the back of the head, but LeBron is the one who initiated that contact. LeBron went into his ribs before that even took place. And look what happens. You got maybe the softest dude in the league elbowing you in the head with little to no regard because he knows that you're just gonna talk and then literally yell out of your mouth, he elbowed me, eject him, which is the softest statement I've ever heard a superstar ever say ever. So it's all about how he's being marketed. That's all.
I thought toughness would mean that somebody wouldn't dare do that to you or that you would put them in their place after they do it to you. I mean, LeBron was avoiding. When I look at game 5, the breakdown and them saying LeBron was playing the 5, it looks more like he was avoiding being down there with Gobert. He didn't really do much in the realm of playing the 5 position, even though we keep hearing that they had to put LeBron in the 5 position because
100%. It was bullshit. I mean, they put him in the power forward or even the center role, it's to hide him. Because the thought process is that's because you're really primarily guarding the perimeter in today's league. So if they move him to the 4 or the 5, then they're thinking, okay, well, he can hang out and catch a long rebound and he can just blend in and hide out on defense. That's what he does. But when you have someone like Rudy Gobert, and when you take a look at this series, every single position on the floor had probably a career night against the Lakers. There was a different player that cooked them in every game. It was never Anthony Edwards. It was just somebody else every time.
Yeah. Robin, I distinctly remember you screaming while we were doing the live of Game 5, who is LeBron guarding right now? And I could use that soundbite repeatedly. You don't know. It's a mystery. It's anyone's guess.
Did you guys see that moment where, like, literally, I think it was Ant-Man. I actually don't remember who came downhill, and LeBron was like on them and literally pretended to be lost and ran in the other direction. Have you seen him do that multiple times in the game? It's scary. Yeah, it's literally scary. Like, how could you be running away from defense? How could you be ducking the smoke like that and calling yourself the GOAT? And these people are out here. We're calling them, what do we call them? Blind witnesses. They're insane, delusional.
I'll tell you why. Because ESPN helps them continue to live the lie. ESPN helps them stay in delusion land. Like ESPN literally tells these people what to think, and it's a safe haven. FYF Sports is a safe haven, as Zay finally found out. This is where
I want to hear that story.
I saw your comment. He said, "This is where the fanboys congregate."
They're like, "No, he found us."
Yeah, well, I'd like to hear about this interaction.
Okay, we talked about it on Friday. Go ahead, Zay. Tell everybody what you discovered.
Oh no, I just commented on it. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, he found us!" No, this is supposed to be a safe space. You know, typical fanboy response.
Zay going and dropping little droplets of reality on FYF Sports. So that fucks up delusion land, man. That's not nice.
You have to stop, Zay, because they keep trying to like come and find me. Like, I don't go looking for these people. I want nothing to do with it. And all of a sudden I always see them like sprinkled in. I'm like, can you please just leave me alone?
Robin, are you here?
The trick is to be a nobody like me, and then you can just talk shit and they'll never hear it. But people will laugh.
That's where they keeping all the honey. That's how come the honey is always going from the stores.
Hey,
look, man, I gotta deal with this on a daily basis. I got a cousin that calls me at the top of the morning.
You are the most patient man ever.
Top of the morning.
You must love your cousin something fierce, because my God, I don't know how you listen. It's insane. Your cousin's got problems.
He still thinks LeBron is special, man. He still.
Hey, wait, listen. I'm in a group with like 4 of my brothers I grew up with, and it's truly like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's disappointing, because I expect this from the young generation that was born after 2003. But if you're from my demographic, from the mid 80s and on up, like, you really gonna sit here and believe this propaganda that the media has indoctrinated you with? Like, are you serious?
You need to snip those people.
You want to know what's insane, though? What Robin said about how not everyone has to be tough and things like that. Like, I agree with you. Tim Duncan wasn't known for being this tough guy. I mean, there were so many people that weren't known. Like, even when you think about David Robinson, but these were people who were very well respected in the game. People, teams, players, they were in fear of playing the Spurs. They felt a fear of playing that good team, right? And even Tim Duncan, how he was able to dominate. So you don't have to be like some sort of disrespectful menace or like physically feared per se for, I think, teams and players to have respect for you. And I just think who has respect for the Lakers? Not one team. I mean, the Pistons, the way they came in there and beat up on the Lakers throughout the season, like, this season to me was an embarrassment. They played the worst teams throughout the league over and over again. They got lucky in some games because there were folks that were injured. They played depleted teams. So they cruised to that 50-win season, but to be then knocked out in the first round, that should show us all that it was fake news.
Dominique, I want you to know, unless a channel has, Robin, don't walk away. Unless you have a channel dedicated, dedicated to making fun of you, then you haven't made it yet. Robin, you've got a channel that says the Sports and Fitness Rants hater, criticizing Robin for being a hater.
Oh my gosh. I just get called a couple of different names. Like some folks in the audience, they'll tell me in the chat, there's a channel, what is it called? Locker Room. I don't know who they are, but
shout out anybody. Don't shout out these fools.
Well, there's a couple of folks that they call me names, and I'm like, I don't even think of it. So I don't know.
Classy. The classic.
I just wanted to say, you brought up Tim Duncan, and that was a beautiful example because Tim Duncan is literally the antithesis of LeBron James. Like you said, Tim Duncan's not about the stats, right? He's not about the flash or the pizzazz. He's about the substance, Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, like you said, wasn't necessarily known for being a tough guy, but he played tough. He showed up. He banged down low. People were scared going against Tim Duncan because they knew he was going to show up. He wasn't going to flop around. He wasn't going to make excuses. He wasn't going to roll around on the court like a little baby. These are the kinds of things that Tim Duncan did. He led by example. He didn't have to yell and scream and all these other things. He didn't have to walk around and flex on people. He didn't need people pumping them up behind him. None of this stuff, man.
I know. Do you notice the Morris twin is like LeBron's handler? Do you guys notice that the Morris twin is like his handler? But you know who else was like that, but like was considered the greatest of all time in his time was Wilt Chamberlain. He was so physically dominant, but he went out of his way to be gentle to his competition. He didn't want to hurt anybody. He was very like he could have been even more dominant if he asserted himself physically. He wanted to shoot the mid-range.
And you would get criticized for dunking a lot back then, being a showboater. Or I mean, look, we're going back a few decades. You can't make all. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
It's just to me, when we even go back and when we go all the way back to Wilt Chamberlain, even to that era, I would say that every single era of basketball was better than today. And I can find a superstar in every era that was better than LeBron James going all the way back. And that's just for me.
So speaking on that, Tim Duncan, I'm glad you brought that up because he was a player I would consider he was like the great stoic of the NBA. He didn't talk. His actions did the talking. Like KG would try to get under his skin, right? And if he cannot get you to come out of character, nobody can. And I remember DeMarcus Cousins, like he was trying to talk some smack to Tim Duncan. And he told him Tim Duncan kind of gave him like 12 straight buckets, like, hey, young fella, he's telling him with his actions, you don't want to smoke with me. And I think that's where Tim Duncan got his respect from his peers because that he was true to himself.
And I think that's the kind of supposed leader that, a Kevin Durant wants to be, but that it just didn't work out for him because he didn't build that. He didn't stay with OKC. I think if he stayed with OKC, he could have had that Tim Duncan silent leadership situation. But then when he jumped to Golden State and it was like he went to Steph Curry's team, it changed things, and it just became like he just wasn't a leader anymore because he did that.
Zach Randolph doesn't get talked about enough as a tough guy. As a tough guy without actually talking about being tough. I go as far as to say he might be the last like legitimate tough guy that I can think of because
Zach Randolph wasn't a superstar though. So when we're talking about in the vein of LeBron James, right? When we talk about LeBron James and toughness, whether it's mental toughness, physical toughness, like we're not going to compare him to Zach Randolph,
Oh, absolutely not. No,
we're in the weeds if we're talking about Zach Randolph. Let me catch up on some super chats, and I'm gonna show one of my favorite callers, Dallas, but with a very disappointing super chat. Robin, this is the type of negative influence you have on people with your shout out, just Robin on your Jokic analysis, and can we jump perk? I mean, for real. Boy, I feel like jumping a lot of these ESPN guys. It's a daily battle between who I want to punch harder or punch first.
Hey, AOH, give Gobert some credit. I think he done what everybody else wanted to do. Just sock him in the back of the head one good time.
Yeah.
He
wanted him ejected for that. Don't forget that.
He screamed the word eject him. He screamed eject him to the refs. Come on, man.
That's crazy. Yeah, do you remember in 2016 when Steph threw his mouthpiece and LeBron is next to Curry looking like a kid screaming to the teacher, like, look what he did! Look what he did!
What a baby.
He did. Curry got ejected though, right? For that?
Huh?
Didn't he get ejected for throwing him
out? Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, you're fouling out Steph Curry. Steph Curry.
You mean to tell me the NBA didn't help?
No, see, that's the type of stuff they want. Like, they'll brag about that, and it's sad. It's like you're bragging about getting the other team's best player ejected so you can have an even more cakewalk to a win.
Yeah, let's talk about physicality a little bit more and the referees, because when I'm doing these breakdowns, you see LeBron James and Luka on the same team. So you see two guys that complain nonstop and expect every call. And you can't help but think about the difference that giving them the calls or not giving them the calls makes. And there were actually some cases where I was like, well, a lot of times they would have given them that call and they didn't blow the whistle. Those are difference makers. And I go back, it was painful watching the Heatles against the Chicago Bulls and the advantage that the refs were giving the Heatles. And as history goes on, people don't talk about it. People don't talk about that. They remember who won. And now, even I'm sure fanboys were really upset that the Lakers weren't getting every call. But guess what? We're already moving on past it, and people aren't talking about the whistle. But they are talking about Luka's conditioning. I'm just saying LeBron doesn't have a legacy at all without help from the league. Nothing. I'm going to read some more super chats unless somebody has something that they're burning to say.
No, I wanted to chime in real quick on the Ant-Man and LeBron going back and forth. I think we talked about this on Friday, but Sports T, I wanted your perspective. LeBron has played 22 seasons, right? How come we've never seen him go at another player the way Ant-Man was going at him in that little sequence right there? Like, we've all asked this question when Kevin Durant went to Golden State. How come you didn't have that mindset? Hey, guys, scrap the offense. I'm taking him out on defense. I don't care if I got to expend all of my energy if I score 5 points. If I can hold him to 41% shooting, let him get 55. We're going to win. No. He bows down, literally bows down to Kevin Durant and says, you got it. Ant-Man, 23, telling LeBron to his face, nah, not on my watch, player. You about to go home. How come we've never seen that? What's your
I think you already know what I'm going to say. I think that's why you asked me this question. And I think it's because LeBron James is just flat out not a competitor. And it goes all the way back to when he was in middle school, when he's in high school. You know, somebody else always has to do it. A guy who was under 5 feet tall, Drew, had to win the games in high school.
Wow.
LeBron has always felt abandoned. He didn't have a dad. His high school coach left him and went on to greater things. He felt abandoned there. He didn't go to college, so he never got that. He never had like a father figure mentor. He never learned how to really like have like a machismo, basically. He never got that. He never learned really even what it was to be a true fan in sports. You know, you don't jump around and change your team. You don't he didn't have that male figure to really guide him, in my opinion. So he never became a fierce competitor. Somebody else always has to win. Somebody else always has to do it. Then you fast forward into the NBA. Part of why he didn't have that Ant-Man mentality, the mentality of Kevin Durant. Hey, like, I'm going to Golden State. I want to beat LeBron. I can't compete. I have to compete with his super team. So I'm going to go create my own super team. I'm going to form against him. He didn't have that competitive spirit because he couldn't do it. He was too afraid, one. And then two, he genuinely just couldn't reach the heights. So the story that he was being compared to is Michael Jordan, right? So he's being compared to 23. He comes into the league with his 23 on, and he's got to be like Michael Jordan. Every single year that he played, he's being compared to, okay, did Michael Jordan do this at this time frame, right? So Michael Jordan's story is that he had to overcome the bad boy Pistons. He kept losing. He lost to the Celtics. He lost to the Pistons. And LeBron James couldn't get past anybody, so he had to leave. He had to team up. So in order for him to he's thinking, okay, well, how do I get over the hump? How do I get to winning? I have to get there. If I don't win, the media, everybody's on my back. What can I do? I have 23 on. I've got to win. And so he had to manufacture. And because he couldn't reach the heights of Michael Jordan, because he couldn't compete, because he couldn't get out there, get the scoring titles, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't even legitimately win Rookie of the Year. Even that, should have been Carmelo Anthony. So there's never been one thing in his career that he legitimately earned.
Zay, on Friday, I said, Ant-Man didn't play. Ant-Man didn't play that well, but that shoving match between him and LeBron might have been the most important thing that he did. And watching LeBron turn his head and act like nothing was happening when he didn't feel like he was winning that to me felt like a deciding moment in the series.
Even just, did you guys see how Ant-Man walked around LA gallivanting, letting everybody know in the streets that, he packed them up and sent them home? LeBron James would never do something like that. And I mean, if he did, he would do it with the Morris twin because he needs protection, right? Like, he's not going to do it with some nobody from back home. You know what I mean? Like, LeBron
but everyone
James
watched 10 Steps to Enos Cantor, right? Because he knows he can fold Enos Cantor like a chair, right? So
I mean, but more than that, a 60-year-old Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah,
but didn't pull up to Kevin Gates, who called his wife Lamar Odom.
Kevin
Gates, a rapper, a nobody in LeBron's, world, sat courtside after calling his wife Lamar Odom. But yet he pulled up on Stephen A. Smith courtside.
Yep.
Fanboys, I see
a 60-year-old.
Zay, jump in.
Why they had the I see why they had to come out with this injury, because you got Ant-Man walking the streets of Skid Row. You got him walking through Skid Row celebrating right now.
Never would have happened.
I think that we can say that Anthony Edwards maybe didn't play great in the series, but I think we can say that Anthony Edwards showed up in the series. He was there, and I think that's part of the reason
he didn't disappear. Can I say, so like Anthony Edwards, part of the reason why I'm okay with like the Jordan comparison sometimes is because when we see him on the court, I don't see him having those LeBron James moments, even when he's playing poorly. So he could be playing like shit, but I don't see him like shrink up and look all scared and in fear. And he supposedly had panic attacks. So they've reported him as having panic attacks, like I guess on his way to a game or something like that. But what we see on the court is we see LeBron disappearing. We see him throwing himself on the floor like a petulant child with terrible twos. We see him doing these things that are just not anything that the greatest players of all time have ever done.
Zay, was it your channel who says, when you look at LeBron, I don't get the feeling he's been in a real scrap in his life?
I don't think he really been through a lot for real. He been sheltered. He had a white family that took him in. You know what I mean? And he did go to that private school. That could get you. That could actually get you beat up for other reasons,
or get you into fights, or make you into a bully. And I think that LeBron he became a bully due to all of those things in his childhood. But really and truly, I don't think, when you think about it, he's been, coddled and told he was the greatest probably since he was like 13 years old. So what fights, what hard life has he really had since around then? I mean, not having a dad is hard and all of those things. I'm just saying, since I would say from early teenage years, he's had it pretty good, just being told you're the greatest, you're going to be the best.
Yeah, he only bullies if he has an army behind him. I agree with you, Zay. There's a reason that I say if I was going to fight anybody in the NBA, it would be LeBron James. Yeah, he's gigantic, but I would fight LeBron James before I fight Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah, the most important thing with him is that he grew up without a father. And him growing up without a father, he has to be able to trust someone that is an older male to be able to listen to them and understand and take in certain critical information. If you're not able to do that, that's what you see the LeBron of today.
But that's why do you think he turns to Pat McAfee and JJ Redick and Steve Nash and these people? He, for some reason, respects their opinion and their mind for the game, and not, the black champions that he's won with in the past.
Yes.
Don't forget the Kelsey brothers. He went on their show too.
That's another one.
But think about this, y'all. He'll go on the Kelsey brothers show, right? You won't even go on Shannon Sharp's show, and he goes out there and emasculates himself for you for the last 5 years.
Well, maybe he is the media. You got to think he might have had a heads up about what was going on with Shay Sharp for a while.
Good point.
He stabbed his own man in the back, Brian Windhorst, his biggest fan. He stabbed him in the back publicly, calling him weird. And Brian Windhorst has been a rider for him for his entire career. So if you can't show loyalty to that one man who we all make fun of all the time because he does have like a Winnie the Pooh kind of look about him, but we all bag on him because of his alignment with LeBron.
He's on Ozempic, by the way. Brian Windhorst.
I know,
I don't know
that's why
he's really slimmed down a lot.
Well, I have my own opinion on the whole Ozempic thing, but
he carries all the weight in his face.
He does, man. All that stress.
Yo, that's diabolical.
No, but it's true.
He's going to hell on a scholarship, man.
But he's got to know. He's got to know where the bodies are buried, though. I'm surprised that LeBron would betray him that way. I think he knows that Wendy's not going to say anything.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on.
Yeah, he's too professional.
When does LeBron ever face consequences? He shits on people all the time, and he never faces consequences. Did Wendy turn on him?
No.
Did Perkins turn on him?
Although I do think that Wendy is giving more. Yes. If you notice, though, Wendy and Perkins, they're keeping it real about the Lakers. They're not mincing words in their takes.
I don't know about that. True. I don't know about that, man. Because they didn't blame LaFody James at all. I didn't hear not one ounce of criticism from them about LaFody James.
Dominique, I understand what you're saying, because there were a few moments in ESPN where it sounded like someone was about to make sense, but then they moved on from it and then contradicted themselves.
And then blame JJ.
Literally the moment that LeBron called Wendy weird, he talked about how LeBron James basically manufactures the media. He mentioned it. He didn't like go scorched earth, but he kind of responded and was just like, LeBron James is aware of what's going on. He knows exactly what he's doing. He said, I'm not going to disrespect him, but I'm just not even going to play into it. He acknowledged.
I've got to catch up on some super chats, and why don't we have some other people read them? Dom, can you see the one that's on the screen?
I sure can. From Spetka Fantasy. It looks like it's in Czech, $100. I don't know what that equates to in US, but when he begged for respect, he must have been pretty hurt inside.
Yeah, that's a weird moment. And to see Rob Pelinka act like something good happened in the background, it was pathetic. He was whining while winning.
Oh, yeah. Just like Nick Wrong, and they all sound the same, like a bunch of crybabies whining. But brew.
Robin, can you see? Can you see what's on the screen? You want to read that one?
Yes, I can. It's not that serious. Coming through with the super chat. Thank you very much. Says LeBron spends millions of dollars on his body and PEDs, allegedly, so he can withstand the impact of flopping.
Yeah, and it didn't work. That last flop got him a
took him out.
MCL.
Exactly.
Why doesn't anyone have a problem with the fact that none of these injuries are confirmed?
None of them.
How did LeBron ever live past saying, if I do get surgery, you'll never know? Why would we never know? Why would we never know? That's so weird.
At this point in his career, we're just lucky if he shows up. Do you remember what he told us? That at this point in his career, he doesn't have to answer to, he's allowed to have his shirt off pregame. At this point in his career, he shouldn't even be sitting at the preseason games. He's a good guy and he's a good teammate. So he showed up to the preseason game. But at this point in his career, he shouldn't even have to do that.
And you've got people that are supposed critics of LeBron, like Stephen A. Smith, who will tell you he's earned this.
He's earned the right.
That's what his critics fucking say.
LeBron James has earned the right to bring his bum-ass son, Carlton Banks, into the league.
Yeah.
That's when Stephen A. exposed himself that day. He'd always been a top corny person of all time to me, but him saying on national television that LeBron earned that, just like Dom said, to bring his son in when 3 days prior they were saying Bronny earned it because he's a 3-and-D guy and he's like blah blah blah, and it's like, all right, listen, I know there's a bunch of stupid people on this planet, but there have to be at least a few people to keep checks and balances to say one day you're saying he earned it, the next day you're saying LeBron put him there because he earned it. Which one is it? You can't even keep lies together on the same show anymore. That's how idiotic ESPN thinks people are. They don't even say the same consistent message in the same segment, let alone the same show or the same day.
You have to kiss the ring, Speen. You have to kiss the ring. There's no job for you left. Sorry.
But Speen, think about it. If you can't be truthful in small matters, right? How do you expect them to be truthful and honest in large matters? And then when you establish lies, it gets difficult because you forget to stay on that lie because your subconscious and your conscious are battling within each other. So you're going to make those Freudian slips and you're going to tell the truth. You just don't realize it, right? And then somebody comes back, well, you said this 3 weeks ago. and then they have to obfuscate the conversation. You know,
Robin, I want you to read this one too because you're mentioned in it.
Shout out to Daniel Parker. Comes through with the super chat. Did Sports and Fitness Rant say Beluga Doncic?
Did you?
I don't believe I did. If I did, it was by accident. But Daniel Parker, I'm giving you credit for that.
You heard what you wanted to hear, and it was a good one.
That's great.
Hoops God, read. Can you read the one from Ma Vegeta?
Vegeta.
Vegeta.
Difference between LeBron, Jordan,
My vagina.
Vegeta.
Vegeta.
I gotta say it like Zay. The difference between LeBron Jordan and 40 Jordan has a bad game, and then has back-to-back 40 pieces. This is the next 2 games LeBron fakes injuries.
Yeah.
Injury.
Yeah. Back to Anthony Edwards. You get shoved around by a guy like that, then you need to come back at him because you're physically bigger, or you do it with your game because you're the GOAT and still, number 2 or one of the best in the league. I can't keep up with when LeBron is 40 and doesn't play well because he's 40 versus he's still one of the best in the league. Jesus Christ, they contradict themselves in the same sentences with these things. But LeBron James, if Anthony Edwards does that to you, you either shove him or you either put him on the ground because you have 50 fucking pounds on him, or you go out and you beat him with your basketball skills. You didn't do either one, you bitch. Hoops God, do you want to read? He's a fucking bitch. He is a god.
He's
damn.
So this is a term where I come from, right? It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. So.
Yeah. Go ahead. Who's got? You want to read the Be Nice?
I can't wait for the Sir Flop-a-Lot statue in front of ESPN headquarters. Yo,
nice.
That's shout out to the comments.
That's
man.
the only place a statue belongs.
They should make a statue where you can just keep knocking it over. Just walk by it, knock it over, and there's like a little mechanism that lifts itself back up.
That's a good one, Steve. Outside of Shannon Sharp's house.
Yep.
What?
Yep. Right outside Shannon Sharp's house. Just this little LeBron statue. You can just push it over, it crumbles, and then it just comes back together. You keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
All right, Speem, since you had a good joke finally, comedian.
Thanks.
You read the next 2. Read Badanana.
Badanana, shout out. LeBron's biggest fear is an in shape Luka. Yeah, that'd be great if Luka could just get it together.
And then let's see them play 1-on-1.
Oh, Luka would smoke him.
Luka would smoke him right now.
Oh, for sure. Lightspeed, shout out. Do you remember the 2009 Eastern Conference Finals? A bullshit story came out that LeBron was choking down the stretch because he was dehydrated.
Yeah, only LeBron James doesn't know how to drink water.
Yeah.
My God.
Zay,
all the millions he spends on his body, he's dehydrated.
He should have a built-in IV system by now with millions of dollars.
That's going all the way back to 2009.
Hey, LeBron, you know what? We appreciate the humor you provide for us. You fucking idiot.
Millions and he's dehydrated.
This is unbelievable.
Zay, read this one.
God.
It says if the Cavs win, the franchise had it in them all along. If the Celtics win another ring, LeBron is really not a Laker. If Curry wins his 5th, he's truly the post-Kobe GOAT. Whoever wins, LeBron loses again.
Yeah, but you missed one. Remember, LeBron already took credit for the Cavs possibly winning by saying he brought the winning culture. He covered the bases, man.
Yo, man, listen, there's a 6 degrees of separation out there for LeBron James. He's been playing for 22 seasons. We saw that with Andrew Wiggins when all those years later, he won with Steph Curry when LeBron James refused to play with him. And now we can see it once again. If Russell Westbrook wins a championship as a role player alongside Nikola Jokic, then all of a sudden this once again highlights LeBron James and his lack of ability to make the people around him.
Zay, go ahead and read this one too.
My brother-in-law from Timbo Slice, Patreon Talk. My brother-in-law LT thinks LeBron the GOAT. Pray for him, please. I really don't want him to go through life as a fanboy. Prayers up in the chat. Prayer hands.
Let me read Praise the Dawn. And LeBron is a lying jackass talking about people vandalized his home. Nobody ever did that. And I wish they did that while he's at home. Well, let's not stoop to LeBron levels and wish these things. LeBron will do it for us. LeBron will vandalize his own home. We don't have to wish on these things. Nick continues.
You know what's really funny about all the Luka Doncic talk that we've mentioned so far about him not being in shape and this and that and his lack of defense or whatever the case may be? ESPN still had this man ranked number 2 coming into the season. So with all of those things that they want to bring up now, you still had him ranked that high coming into the season. So apparently it wasn't that bad. Also, all the excuses that they're making now, Kendrick Perkins, look at how many of the ESPN quote-unquote analysts picked the Lakers to win that series. Almost every single one of them, but maybe 2 or 3, did not pick the Lakers to win that series. So once again, the Lakers now are lacking depth and size and all this stuff, but all you guys were picking the Lakers in 6. You guys were picking the Lakers in 5. It's laughable.
These are the professionals that we've been reduced to hearing from.
Luka, Hookah, Chalupa, Wolves in 5.
Man.
It's the same guys that said Austin Reeves was the best third option in the league, and now all of a sudden they lost because of him and his defense.
No, Spain.
Again, inconsistent messaging within the same day.
How disrespectful is that to call this dude Hillbilly Kobe? And Austin Reeves is nice. No, no disrespect.
Kobe from the Ozarks
don't
or
put
whatever.
his name and Kobe Bryant in the same sentence.
Sorry,
I don't. That's a great point, though.
I
That's a great point, Who God, because remember, we mentioned this earlier, and we mentioned them hyping up guys like Austin Reeves into a realm that was laughable, to a point where we were like, are the Lakers a super team all of a sudden? Because you got all these guys on the team. But now that gives them a built-in excuse because, Austin Reeves, he didn't really play that good. That's part of the reason why they lost. No, Austin Reeves was Austin Reeves. And all of a sudden, he wasn't playing to the level you guys hyped him up to be. It's almost like that comedy when Chris Rock talks about the tiger going tiger, and people are like, oh, the tiger attacked him. No, he said the tiger went tiger, man. It's the same narrative, man.
Let me tell you 1 second before y'all. I just got to piggyback on that because y'all got to understand. Yes, this is a combination of them not having the roster right. They chose Bronny over Trey Jamison. They chose him over Christian Coloco. You know what I mean? They chose Bronny, right? And then the Lakers were allowed to play a whole different style of defense in the regular season. They were allowed to foul, grab jerseys, grab arms, arm bars, all that type of shit throughout the whole course of the season. And they didn't get away with that in the playoffs. Austin Reeves wasn't shooting 15 free throws in the playoffs. The game was officiated totally different. So I told fanboys, you have 3 traffic cones. They're not going to be able to foul their way through the playoffs. That's not going to happen. And that's exactly.
You know what else though is really interesting is that you have Luka and you have LeBron on the same team, and that kind of star ball, that's not sustainable through the playoffs. And so for Austin Reeves to have the same usage into the playoffs when star ball, they're going to fall back on what they know, right? So LeBron, even if he was playing off the ball for a couple of games during the regular season, even if he pretended to have some level of defense, that all is going to change come postseason because what do? They do what they know. They fall back on what they know in those crunch time moments and situations. So they went to what they knew, which was Luka coming out very aggressively in the first quarter, trying to score all the points because he knows he's going to get tired. LeBron James can't last either. That's his same strategy. Usually he tries to come out hot in the first and second quarter because come the second half, he doesn't have it. He loses steam. And so they both cannot sustain in that second half. And Austin Reeves couldn't get into any kind of rhythm. He got a couple of good looks, but only when they couldn't couldn't score the ball. So when they can't score is when he got the ball, which is not really his style because he likes to cook with the basketball. And they were sometimes in moments playing off the ball, standing in the corner, waiting around to catch it. That didn't happen in the postseason because they need to have that usage. They need to bring that ball up and down, Luka and LeBron both. And when they both can't do it, then one of them is going to play like shit. And that's what we saw in every game.
Yeah.
How dare you give astute basketball analysis on Austin Reeves and why he wasn't the third best option in the NBA in the playoffs? Thank you very much, Sports Team.
Yeah.
But also, don't forget that we have 3 starters on the team: Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, that can't guard a parked car. They all 3 of them have no defense. So how could they have really gone into this postseason with any level of success? I'm shocked that they won 1 game.
I wonder how AD would have done against Rudy Gobert in the paint. I wonder how that would have went if they had Anthony Davis down there instead of Mr. 135.
They would have won the series.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Anthony Davis would have dog walked Rudy Gobert. He would have made him look so small.
LeBron was coaching this game. He's been playing too much Madden. He's out there playing Rover. And for those that don't know what Rover is, that's a safety linebacker hybrid. It's something that you would play in Madden, or you see like a Jamal Adams type of player. You know what I mean? But he's trying to play Rover in basketball. That's not.
I thought it was the dog walking app.
Wait, Zay, you gotta be a dog to play Rover though. LeBron ain't no dog. LeBron he's a poodle. Come on, man. That's like, disrespectful to the Rover in football.
That's what he was playing out there.
Yeah, he's playing the poodle.
He was just roving around in the paint, across the paint, from baseline to baseline. Come on, man.
It's quite an interesting assumption that that if they had in fact gotten Mark Williams from Charlotte, that would have solved everything. I mean, that's a pretty huge leap of faith. Lakers have 4 7-footers on their team that they chose not to use.
It would have been the same story. Mark Williams wouldn't have gotten in the game. JJ Redick wouldn't have trusted him. He would have trusted LeBron James more at the 5. Because if you go ahead and you put Mark Williams in the game, one of them has to sit. You can't play Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, LeBron James. You can't play them all at the same time and then play a non-scorer at the 5. So he's got to make decisions.
It's Bronny's time to shine. You guys are all wrong. He just didn't get enough time on the court in this series. He was the missing piece. You're all wrong.
Oh yeah. They certainly couldn't have gotten a more serviceable backup guard or even that center that they so desperately needed, right? For the $7-8 million they're paying Bronny.
Guaranteed money. And I don't know if you guys touched on this yet, but LeBron kind of sold AD out too. Actually, I think Dom, you might have mentioned this on your show with his little post-game comments about, AD said so-and-so, and now he's traded, blah, blah, blah. To me, it's like, that's a line that was crossed, because the inner workings of that, I'm sure everybody knows exactly what took place. So for you to take that little shot and then laugh about it in everyone's face was just, I don't know. Like you deserve
so
to get
disgusting,
that.
Dude.
The reason why that was disgusting is because he has a no trade clause, so the Lakers can't trade him, and it's just like, you are so awful, you can't even read the room. He's just like a pitiful person.
I didn't pick up on that at first because he was mumbling like a crybaby to the extent that I was like, I don't even understand what you said.
I don't think he did. I don't think LeBron, I don't know if you guys notice this, but he oftentimes will make a joke or say a comment and he doesn't even recognize or foresee the backlash that he's about to get.
But
he's
Don,
just
doesn't
not
have
that
to.
bright.
If you don't understand what he said, ESPN will come in and clarify it for you and clean up his mess.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why he has no awareness. He doesn't. He lacks a self-awareness. He cannot read the room. Why are you crying about AD getting traded?
This is a question I've asked before. I'm going to ask it again. Does LeBron James, having no accountability and no sense of reality because everybody covers for him, is that a blessing for us because we have all this material, or are things so far gone that having people cover for you is all that's necessary to be considered a success now?
Can I answer that real quick?
You go right ahead.
I think that we actually get more material when he feels like he's aware of what's taking place, even when he's wrong. So to Dom's point about not being able to read the room, he thought what he was saying was so topical and comical that he felt the need to keep, kind of just like rumbling on, like you said, AOH, and just kind of just rambling, right? When he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, which is all the time, you get comments about China where he'll say something and it's just like, well, at least somebody's there to correct him. I like it when nobody corrects him, because then we can come on here and be like, no, wait a second. All of this is bad. It takes this many outside perspectives to tell you that you guys are, as an entity, ESPN as an entity, NBA as an entity, you guys are lying and trying to convince the rest of the world that's something that isn't there. I prefer that they have that kind of like that hubris, that arrogance of we're right and you're wrong, because it gives me something to research. It gives me something to look into and do. That's just my opinion.
Sure, it might benefit us.
I think it's a gift and a curse, though, AOH. Yeah. Like, really, I think it's a gift and a curse, because, yes, we have the content, but content is going to content. YouTube is going to YouTube. The NBA is going to NBA. The Lakers are going to Laker. So we don't need this kind of content to have a sports community and to bring people together. Basketball, sports brings people together. And LeBron, unfortunately for me, has divided the sports community. No matter what, no matter who you hated growing up, basketball has always brought people together, and it's been more divisive than I've ever seen it. And that's because of LeBron James. So I think that he doesn't have to be this way. The reason why it's a curse is because what we're going to see is the NBA continue to take a turn for the worse, in ways that we never really imagined. Think about now, because of LeBron James's records and probably post NBA, post LeBron James's career, he's going to be so deeply involved in the NBA's ass that he's going to make changes. And there's going to be things that happen that it's going to shape the NBA in a negative way. It's going to create probably a lesser competitive environment, or such a competitive environment that we may never see like a face of the league or another person take over the media the way that LeBron James has, because he's in so much control.
To one of your first points, there were a lot of good points there. How much time have we spent just talking about LeBron's lies and ESPN's lies instead of doing film breakdown? There's enough content there. Right. His bad play is enough for us to talk about. We don't need this low-hanging fruit content. You know, we're just, I mean, it's reducing us to Jerry Springer show analysis instead of basketball analysis.
Yeah, because that's what's trending. We're forced to do it. And it's LeBron trending us that way, because even when he mind the game, it's a bunch of bullshit narratives that he's pushing. And then we see for 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, Steve Nash with the clipboard breaking down the game. Never LeBron. We never see him talking about a play. We see him talking about what he did when he was 8 years old, basic fundamentals of basketball that he tries to say works today that he doesn't use. So he doesn't play fundamentally sound basketball, but then tries to refer back to something that he learned as a child. And
because he can flip a play, get off his back. He can flip a play. He's been able to do it since he was 2 years old.
A better description would be called mind the lane, because that's exactly what he did. He's just lame on there. Like, come on, bro, stop. Just stop.
It's the LeMind games.
The LeMind game.
It's a bunch of bullshit, like you said.
It's time to catch up with some sports chats or some super chats. I'll read the first one and then we'll keep moving. Stuart H. Winning by deceit and blaming others for losses are Disney villain qualities. Calling LeBron your GOAT is like rooting for Jafar in Aladdin.
Great comment. Great comment.
That's so true, man. So true.
Right hand Cam says, go ahead, Zay. Read it.
Right hand Cam, my dog. What's up with you? Zay James and Sports T James Harden. Wait, it's Zay James and Sports T James Harden stay choking no matter what team he's on. That's a fact. No matter what players he has, no matter who he's gone to, he chokes.
I guess I skipped around, Nick. I think I read this one. Yeah. Or Sports T, glad to see you here. Welcome aboard. No, it's just someone else welcoming you aboard.
Calling him Jafar is a compliment, by the way, because Jafar could read the spells in that fucking book. LeBron couldn't.
So Jafar was also a lot more scarier. And Jafar, like, he shouldn't even be compared to LeBron. That's what I'm saying.
Jafar was a real threat.
Badanana says that bastard John Stockton minivan, though.
Yeah, word.
Jesse Glad Saget. LeBrick grew up rooting for the Cowboys, Yankees, Bulls, in the 90s. That's a combined 12 championships in one decade. He's a born front runner.
Oh, good point.
Zay, right hand cam is back.
James Harden stays choking. The last time he didn't choke was when the strip clubs were closed, y'all.
Hey, Zay, get his name right. Little Game James Harden. Put some respect on Little Game James.
Little Game James.
Badanana says, I bet LeBron punches worse than Stephen A. Smith. Who would everybody rather fight, Stephen A. Smith or LeBron?
Oh, no, I'm fighting LeBron. Hey, no, AOH, I was raised to respect my elders, so no, I'm going to sock LeBron like Rudy Gobert did.
Yeah. I'd rather LeBron too.
Who do you guys have in that fight? Just out of curiosity, between Stephen A. and LeBron.
Bro, they're going to catch him in one of them old man right hands.
That
old man strength.
Who do you have between Dominique and LeBron?
I got Dom. I've seen Dom yell at somebody to their face at least.
Stephen A. might knock the Sonic rings out that boy, man. You never know.
He got those no shoes on. You know he's a hard trainer.
Does it matter if the Morris bitch shows up? Does anyone?
Honestly, I'm scared. Don't bring him around me. I'm scared of the Morris twin. Do you see him? He looks taller than LeBron from behind him. He looks scary.
He's not.
Have you heard him talk, Dom? You'd be fine. You'd be fine.
No, I know. And I've seen his brother on ESPN, but it's just crazy because you see him whispering to LeBron courtside, like, hey, there goes Kevin Gates, like, what are you going to do? I got your back,
Gates. And why is this all so funny? Because we see LeBron James fall down running into DiVincenzo, someone who's 100 pounds less than him. So we laugh and we say, oh, if you got to wrestle and get into a scrap with LeBron James, are you really worried about it? No, I'm not really concerned because we've seen LeBron James roll around on the floor from nothing. So are we really to believe that LeBron James could take an actual punch to the chin or an actual kick to the gut? I don't believe he could.
Hey, y'all know who LeBron reminds me of if I had to make an analogy? So I would say, let's go to boxing. You could put Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, right? I would say Kobe Bryant, Sonny Liston, any one of those guys, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard. It's any one of those guys, whoever you want to throw in there. To me, LeBron is the Jake Paul of boxing. It's all hype, right? The hype is through the roof, but the substance is like barely above the basement. I just think that's a perfect analogy.
I think that's giving him credit. I think calling him Jake Paul is giving him credit. And I think that's how low the bar is right now. And I'm being dead ass serious because at least Jake Paul, like he's a bitch, right? But at least he puts on a show and kind of fights dudes that are used to be athletes. LeBron just goes against the softest dude you can find, and then is the toughest person ever. I've always said I've had Stephen A's back more in this whole little fake beef than LeBron because it kind of seems like Stephen A. It's just him. But with LeBron, it's him plus his camp, right. plus all these other guys walking with him. Kevin Gates doesn't respect LeBron enough to even button up his motherfucking shirt, standing up in the front of the game, right? So what if that takes place after you just talked about the mother of your kids? That tells you everything you need to know about the public perception of the so-called most popular athlete in sports right now.
That's got to be a weird relationship at home. Savannah and LeBron. I mean, LeBron's a grown child, and Savannah is okay with it. Savannah signed on for it. I mean,
he never addressed DJ Academics. He said he had the receipts on him and Drake chasing the bunnies up there in Canada. So,
I mean, I don't know. Can you blame her? She's got a good life. They've been married probably more than 10 years. She's probably able to make herself happy, even if she has to put up with him.
You answer that for us, Dom. I mean, what does that take? Because the man that you're with, I know that comes with perks with being a billionaire, but the man that you're with, you realize he's a fucking bitch. I mean, at the end of the day, you are married to a bitch.
But how many hours are they together on a daily basis?
Great question. So why does everybody say that he's a great husband and a great family man?
I don't know.
How many hours do you think they spend? Honestly,
I don't know because he talks about getting 12 hours of sleep, right, on a daily basis. I don't know. Then there's all of the conditioning. He has to sit in a chamber. He has to go to the He has to go to the Lebalco lab. I don't know.
The nutrition time, account for the nutrition. Yeah.
He was babysitting, and he openly admitted that he missed a lot of time with his family. That's why he had to babysit Bronny on the Lakers.
Right. Yep. Right. And he still doesn't need to go home because he's going to bring Bryce to the Lakers. Anything except for going home.
I know.
he sleeps in the car. That's what you're saying.
He turned the Lakers into a daycare, man.
But if I'm Savannah, I would enjoy that. Imagine how much time she gets with her girlfriends.
Yeah, there you go. You just answered it.
She has so much time to do all the things she wants. Like if I wouldn't mind being married to LeBron, good looking guy, and I don't have to see him.
No,
did you call him a good looking guy?
LeBron's a good looking guy. It's just like
wait a second.
He's just got like that lace front wig thing happening. That's the only thing. I would appreciate him more if he would just
good looking.
If he would go
Stop
bald
it right now.
So if he would go bald, I would prefer for that because it's like a confidence thing, you know. But I wouldn't have to see him that much. I wouldn't have to hear him that much. All the lies that he tells is mainly to the media, not to me.
You heard it first. Basically, the relationship is tolerate his childishness, and you get all the perks in the meantime. Wow, that's
she does handle herself
with a
fair amount of class. AOH. She does handle herself with a fair amount of class for being married to a douchebag like that. I will say that.
Goodness.
The key is to just stay quiet, right?
Pretty much.
Let LeBron make a fool of himself, and you just stay quiet.
Or read the occasional script at the ESPYs.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing I remember Savannah saying is that, I'm not gonna lie, we're a dope ass family. That's the only thing I never hear her say anything. So good for her.
But her body language, though. What about her body language? My bad. Before you
go ahead, Zay, jump in.
Because what about her body language? How many pictures have we seen of her poking her lip out at LaFody James?
I don't know. I think when they got eliminated, we saw her waiting for him. She gave him a kiss. She felt for him. I suspect they have a fine marriage, a good relationship. I try not to criticize that because I don't care. I'm concerned about what LeBron James does on the court, the kids that he inspires now to flop on the court, to manufacture, the way that we no longer have any meritocracy in the league. And, you know, there's no, now we don't even celebrate winning. We celebrate getting to the finals. Oh, well, I got to the finals. That's the bar. Or, oh, well, I'm 40 and I can still think the game. So let's celebrate me now. You know, just the losing, the crying, the flopping, the manufacturing. These are the things that I'm worried about, not the marriage. I could care less.
Good.
I'm worried that you said he's good looking, Dom. That's what I'm worried about.
Let's just pretend that didn't happen. LT says, appreciate the psychological breakdown on this bum. Keep it up, guys. And thank you for the super chat. Bookmark says, James maybe once retire at 43 to outdo Kareem. Parentheses, great panel. Thank you. God only knows when LeBron is going to retire. He does less every year while they call him the most conditioned athlete in the NBA. I mean, the disrespect to the other players in the NBA with statements like that alone is a little bit mind-boggling. I'm trying to catch up. Bear with me. Josh Minus says LeBron is the GOAT of being an absolute bum. Agree. Thank you. Robin, read this one.
What's that say? What the cinnamon toast fudge? Shout out to What the Cinnamon Toast Fudge for coming through. Father figures are important. Jordan's entire legacy was cultivated by trying to gain approval and acceptance from his father. Once again, shout out to What the Cinnamon Toast Fudge. Thank you very much to all you guys out there, man, that continue to support us.
Jose, with no comment, just support, gave a $10 super chat. Thank you, Jose. Drama Therapy says, in all fairness to Braun, steroids can cause dehydration.
Him and Bronny, they have that white mouth happening.
Zay, read this one.
From H Clip 53, loyal Clippers fan of 46 years. God damn it. Feel sorry for me, guys. Nothing surprises me with this club. My pain runs deep. God bless and keep bringing the truth.
Robin, what did I say? What did I say the other day with the Cleveland Browns fans? At least they understand that they suck and that they're living in misery. LeBron fans are in delusion. Why don't you say, God damn it, LeBron? Why can't you be better? Nope. They're like, oh, he is good. It's everyone else's fault, no matter what he does wrong.
Well, AOH, they're projecting those Disney fantasies. You know, in their mind, it's greatness. It's all these other things. But in reality, you know, we're like, okay, why are all these losses and all these blemishes overwhelming the quote unquote greatness? And see, that's the problem. They have their own little fantasy world that they just want to stay, you know, dwelling in. But then when we actually bring reality, we have to be called haters. That's their crutch word.
You got to be in a serious non-reality world to think that the bubble chip makes up for 7 years of the Lakers being as pathetic as they've ever been. I don't, and people, and then, but you got a Stephen A. Smith who comes on and says some shit like that might have been the toughest chip ever.
Well, he said that too. Stephen A. backed that.
Yeah, no, he said that. He's the first one that I heard say it.
Oh wow!
I did a whole video about it. That's years ago.
I actually didn't know that Stephen A. Smith said that at the time.
Oh, that was years ago.
I had no idea.
That was probably 2021 when LeBron was having an astonishingly miserable year. And everybody had to turn around and start talking about something else. Hey, let's look at how amazing 2020 was. Fuck.
It was so amazing that nobody watched that finals. More people watched The Last Dance than they watched the finals that year.
Yeah. What year was the in-season tourney? What year was that?
It was the following year, I think.
That was the most embarrassing
lowest ratings ever. And 98 still has the highest.
The celebration of the in-season tournament was maybe the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen a professional do. Watching them pop champagne with goggles and all this other bullshit after beating Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. Watching ESPN prop up Tyrese Halliburton as the next face of the league and the Pacers as this defensive juggernaut. Just, you know, seeing AD shouting and hooting and hollering after dunking on, I don't even know who their big man was at the time. It was embarrassing because as soon as they lost in the playoffs, LeBron was like, yeah, we won that thing or whatever. And it's just like, holy shit, like, where's the stenographer? Where's the person who keeps all the records of all this
to
bullshit?
date, both of the in-season tournament champions have been first-round exits in the actual playoffs. So that tells you how meaningless it is.
Yep.
Right.
It's embarrassing.
And the whole point, though, or the part where LeBron James got exposed is when Giannis didn't pour champagne all over himself. He didn't go all crazy. They didn't celebrate that way, the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis said, we're not going to celebrate that way. LeBron James, who was a seasoned veteran of the NBA, of competition, decided to celebrate as if it was 1999. This dude went nuts. He jumped through the window. And that's where he got exposed.
Real Ball says, what do you folks think about the Nuggets? They got dumped on a lot this season, including by Robin. Can they beat?
No, hold on. Don't you dare, AOH. You better check yourself with that nonsense, man. I ain't dump on the Nuggets. I dumped on you weird Nuggets fans that said he ain't had no help. Get it straight, AOH.
Goof.
Yes.
Can they beat OKC? Only if the bench carries Jokic, right, Robin?
Once again, you sound real salty, AOH.
Where does he
Don't
go?
be salty, because I got the facts. I've been 100% on the money.
Robin, you go off camera to lift weights?
I've been 100% on the money.
Here's the thing. What has Jokic done that actually pisses you off? The fans, the ESPN.
Once again, you're missing the point.
But you're wasting your energy.
Jokic.
But you waste your energy shitting on Jokic. What's Jokic done to deserve hate?
Tell me where I hate it. You name me the hate. What do I say?
Dude,
what's he say?
What do I say? Say that, wait, where? When?
Tell him.
When?
Well, I'll read the titles of half of your last videos.
Read it.
Come on.
You talk about You talk about Jokic being carried by the people that they say the bums. But here's the thing.
Exactly. Thank you very much. You just made my point. They're not bums. They're not bums.
Okay. Did Jokic call his teammates bums?
I say Nikola Jokic fans.
Nikola Jokic
fans.
Why would
you not making any sense?
Why would you spend time on that? Is what I'm saying. Why?
That's a good question.
So now you're dictating my content on my channel. Airways. This is what we're doing now, man. I thought we were cool, man. What are we doing right now? You're sounding insane. Cool. You're trying to put words in my mouth like all these people do. It don't make sense. The bottom line here is the Denver Nuggets are a good team, but not just because of Nikola Jokic, but also because of the other guys that stepped up. If you watch that series, Nikola Jokic was horrible in the fourth quarters. His teammates stepped up. When he airballed that three-pointer in the last seconds, who tipped in the dunk and won the game for them? In the game one, if you watch the fourth quarter, who missed the 2 free throws with a minute left, with the team up by 1? Nikola Jokic did. Who grabbed all those offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter? Aaron Gordon, Russell Westbrook, Jamal Murray dropped 40 points in one of those games. You fools keep telling me this dude is carrying bums. You telling me he has to play at MVP levels for them to compete or win when he did not play at MVP level, and they dominated a Clippers team in that game 7.
Can we get a round of applause because Robin just did that without breathing one time?
Well, Robin, just so you know, Robin, I'm with you. I think that we oftentimes, because we hate LeBron James, he's so insufferable, we can tolerate the same mistakes from other superstars that are much more likable, that are much more humble, that are much more modest. Nikola Jokic actually loves Russell Westbrook. He does not come out post-game press conference and, sort of blame him or allow for his teammates to get ragged. He never throws them under the bus. So I think that's why fans sometimes appreciate him more. And then, of course, there's the whole subconscious bias where we just tend to sort of celebrate white players that are that have a modicum of talent. So I think that we make exceptions for Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, because they are more likable than LeBron James. Anybody is more likable than LeBron James.
The polarity that you just mentioned, Dominique, is the point. You have LeBron James, who is the reason his team loses, going out and throwing his teammates under the bus and getting protected. I haven't heard Jokic throw a teammate under the bus ever. And he doesn't always have a perfect game. I just think it's interesting that we spend any time being upset with Jokic when he himself doesn't do anything. I heard of all the people.
I said a 3-minute soliloquy, and you still missing the damn point.
Right. So Robin's point is that YouTube content. So here's the point, and I'm gonna flesh out Robin's point just a little bit more because I understand him. The point is that YouTube content creators, we say one thing about LeBron James. Oh, we're celebrating his triple-double in a loss. LeBron James fans are delusional. We talk about the fans, and so Nikola Jokic fans should not be delusional as well and say things like he has no help when he has a team. You can't come out of a playoff series without your team. You can't do it by yourself. So LeBron James is known for saying he can do it by himself, et cetera, et cetera. And then, all he's saying is that we need to keep it consistent. But because, in my opinion, I hate LeBron James flat out. So these other players, it's natural, and I think it's organic for us to just make some more exceptions for them because their personality is different, because they're not, first of all, they don't come out and say things like I'm the GOAT. Kevin Durant never did that. That's why we give him a little bit more of, a reprieve. We give every player more of a reprieve because they don't do the things that LeBron James does. But we do need to be a little bit more consistent. We can't celebrate Nikola Jokic triple-double in a loss if we're saying it's not okay for LeBron. That's the point Robin's making, which I do get.
So you're letting some fans dictate content which ends up sounding like shitting on Jokic.
Gracious.
But that's what we do. But that's what we do, though.
I'm very disappointed in you right now, my friend. I don't understand what you're not getting about what I've said in my videos. I think you need to watch my Nikola Jokic videos and really listen.
All right, we'll do an in-depth.
Think about it, AOH, though. The fans do dictate our commentary, our content. You wouldn't be able to make all these videos that you make debunking LeBron's fans that come out with these crazy narratives. It's these fans that
No,
push
that's not
them
true.
and
That's
the
not true.
media. But it's
All
the
I have to do
media
is
and
look
the
at
fans.
ESPN. All I have to do is look at ESPN. I don't look at the fans. ESPN gives me. That's the problem. ESPN.
You call them out though. You will call out those delusional fans because it's a big part of it. You know, they're the one. It's like the Donald Trump thing. They're spreading hate and horrible narratives. They play a role. I'm not going to say it's everything, but they do play a role. And we have delusional Jokic fans as well, even just like the delusional Caitlin Clark fans. She's got the same turnover clip as LeBron James. The fans are delusional. The media is delusional too. And so that's, you know, we're seeing that.
I'm going to back AOH real quick in saying that all you do have to do is tune in to ESPN because the fans have kind of infiltrated there to begin with. It's just that ESPN
this ain't got nothing to do with
has
the fans, man. Y'all need to stop and shut up with the damn fans.
I was just going to ask if
That's
Robin
what I'm
had
saying.
his
Y'all lost
his
here,
life
man.
alert.
Y'all lost.
I was just asking Robin if he had his
says
full life
Michael
alert.
Jordan's game gave
Hey,
birth
I'll turn it up, man.
to pipe dreams.
It's also, I think it's just us. I think us as YouTube content creators, we talk about telling the truth. We talk about, you know, keeping the same energy, being consistent, and we should be across the board, but it's hard. We're all still people and humans.
I'm about to text Robin, make sure he's not snapping.
Just Messenger says 4 big and
You guys have to stop attacking him. I love Robin, just so you know.
Robin is the GOAT. Robin is the
Stop
GOAT.
attacking him. Steam Engine, stop attacking. Yes, he is.
You're always, I saw a picture of him without his shirt on. He's just fine. He'll be fine. He's strong. He can take it.
Robin the Rampage Jackson the door, man. What's going on, man?
There he goes. See, he's laughing. He's
you
not
guys
that
mad. You guys need to listen to him. Robin is a historian. He knows his game. You guys need to listen to him.
I've read 2 super chats in an attempt to move on, and they all won't.
In my mouth. I don't want to be misrepresented, and I don't want to be misquoted, man. So that's all this is about. This ain't got nothing to do with the fans. Let's move on amicably.
I did. I read 2 super chats that you all ignored and went right back to the topic we're supposed to move on from. Blade Raiders says Luka Duncan Hines with La Geriatric equals losing. More. Luka's going to have so many nicknames.
Hey, the comments. Hey, yo, the comments. Y'all on fire with these bars, man. Keep them coming.
Okay. Who's got to read this one?
Keep up the good work! Exclamation mark. Will Jeannie Buss in the front office of the Lakers finally grow a pair and let LeBron go in order to plan for the future?
No. I hope so.
They can't even if they want to.
I would say this. The fact that they got Luka, and I mean, he's essentially a younger LeBron James. He's just much more efficient, you know, because they love to use that term. I would say yes to a certain extent. I think they're trying to show LeBron in an indirect way, hey, we're planning for the future. So, you know, you can just go ahead and remove yourself. But if you want to keep hanging around and overstaying your welcome, well, we may have to get a little bit more direct, you know, with our plans. So that's
but it's a no trade clause. What does more direct look like?
If the Lakers are smart, he has a player option. They will advise him, hey, LaForty James, thank you for your services. You beat the record. You gave us a bubble title. You gave us an in-season tournament. That's all we need from you, brother. That's all we need from you. Thank you. Good luck on your future endeavors. Because
how do you do that with a no trade clause?
He has a player option, so he can opt in and opt out, I believe, right?
I can't imagine why he would opt out, though.
If he wants to go back to Cleveland, you know, go somewhere else. The Lakers want their franchise back. This man is he's about to get paid $52 million this year. What can you get on the market right now with $52 million that can help your team? Actually help them. You know what I mean? That's the important.
You have to package Bronny with him at that because there's no way those two split up. So it's the 52 mil plus the $8 million guaranteed from Bronny James because
$60 million.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, there's no chance that those two separate. He'd have to. LA would be crazy to maintain him at this level.
And they've already proven that they are crazy.
Yeah,
if you're listening to his post game, he's talking about, we don't know what we're going to do with the roster yet. He's already implying that he wants his input on the roster. He's about to be 41 years old, and you want this team built around LeBron James? That's not the recipe.
I don't know. Ask Kenny Smith.
Oh, another hair tattoo artist. Hey, can somebody super chat Robin a hug or a high five from me or something?
I'm good, Speed. Don't worry about me, man. I'm living a dream right now. I got the facts. I got the facts on my side, baby. I've been 100% on the money since day one.
You
So
guys
easy
better
to get
stop
him,
bothering Robin.
Mike Lowry says.
One.
Mike Lowry says Westbrook has more heart than anyone in the NBA. Yeah,
Truth.
I mean,
He has more dresses and more bricks. That's what he says.
Well,
Josh,
he does that too.
Josh Minus is back. Zay, read Josh Minus.
I thought it couldn't get worse as a Lakers fan when I had to watch Nick Young, Jordan Hill, Kendall Marshall, Ryan Kelly, and that absolute bum Robert Scare commit basketball terrorism. I was wrong. I take that over this garbage. Man.
Yeah, but during those dark years in LA, I don't remember records for failure being set the way that they're being set with LeBron's presence.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Sorry,
I don't remember Kobe Bryant trying to be Olympic MVP.
Well, no. Hey,
At the end, I remember him playing defense and trying to mentor the guys and really being the elder statesman. LeBron is a disgrace.
Is it not a coincidence that they had the MVP in 2004 when Argentina won and Manu was awarded the MVP? But mysteriously, 2008, Kobe Bryant has to lead the team back to success and back to dominance. There's no MVP.
Oh, yeah. Mysteriously.
Fred B. Jam says, y'all need to go to the LeBron School of Appreciation. Then you'll be taught to love LeBarbie. LeBarbie wants his damn respect. I wonder if that's a course at the Promise School. I mean, he goes on these podcasts telling people that he and Steve Nash or he and JJ Redick are going to teach people how to really appreciate basketball, which is what percent of these shows has been him making excuses for himself and throwing people under the bus?
100%.
I mean, throwing other people under the bus is your version of teaching people to appreciate basketball.
Right. Exactly. He's trying to rewrite history. Every chance LeBron James gets, he tries to rewrite history. I mean, look at Rich Paul, man, a couple weeks back. Oh, yeah, they weren't really a big three. He tries to downplay how good Chris Bosh really was. That's you rewriting history, because the reality that history actually shows that Chris Bosh actually was a really good player. Yeah, he wasn't one of the all-time, like, top 10, 20 greatest players of all time, but he was a really good player, man, when he played. But now they're trying to rewrite that history by saying, yeah, Chris Bosh wasn't really that good. No, what he had to do was once again sacrifice his game to help LeBron James win.
Do you remember, though, that he also said that Boston was a big four with Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Rondo?
Right.
But mysteriously, when Ray Allen joined the Miami Heat, they weren't a big three or a big four, right?
By the way, I think Doc Rivers underachieved with that Celtics group.
I agree. I think that Doc Rivers underachieved. I think he's one of the most winningest coaches, but also one of the most, I'm going to say, overrated as well. So he's overrated and also one of the most winningest. It's really interesting.
Yeah. I think he's underachieved in several aspects of his career. And Boston was just one of those many, opportunities. I mean, what happened with the LA Clippers? Remember, they were supposed to be like the reincarnation of the Clippers?
I think he just has an idea of how basketball is supposed to be. And when people say that he doesn't make adjustments, I agree to that point that he doesn't make adjustments. He just only makes the adjustments that he likes to make. So he thinks if this happens, then I'm going to make this adjustment. He doesn't necessarily know. He's not ready to coach today's league. He's coaching in a different time. He's
still living off that Boston ring, as far as I'm concerned, this many years later.
I mean, why do we have to bang on him, right? But what has Rick Carlisle, what has he done? He's living off the same ring since God only knows how long. I'm just saying that all these other coaches, we need to bring them to task too. It's not about just Doc Rivers. There's plenty of other coaches getting bumped in the first round or melting down, not making adjusted. The Grizzlies coach failed miserably. He was clipped. Mike Malone has made some pretty poor mistakes. There's a lot of guys that we should be talking about in the same vein, but for some reason we target Doc Rivers so much. And I'm not saying it's because he's black. It's just I think he is a target. It's probably his hairline, the spray paint. It's just.
But are those guys that you just mentioned being given coveted opportunities?
I think that Rick Carlisle has had really good opportunities. I think that the guy who else has had a pretty good team. What's that other team that I want to think of?
Someone say Steve Kerr.
Even when you take a look at Minnesota, Chris Finch has been outcoached loads of times. Even Steve Kerr, he is a championship winning coach who is extremely overrated. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but he's overrated. His substitution patterns are awful. Thibodeau, he should be blasted. I mean, they're making a lot of poor decisions, a lot of these coaches, but we love to focus on Doc Rivers because of his history, because of the meltdowns in the playoffs, which I get, but a lot of these other coaches aren't even making it to the playoffs with some really good teams. I mean, take a look at Giannis and that team. Like they shouldn't have been bumped in the first round.
Spam, you want to read the one on the screen?
Shout out to JSRL Podgy. Oh, man. Sorry, this is starting to catch up with me. Much as I dislike LeBron, Jeannie, his presumed boss, is responsible. She could fine dude for all action / media that threatens franchise credibility. Absolutely. She does nothing as far as we know.
I mean, she does his bidding. I mean, who's the boss? That's the weird question we always ask ourselves. Is LeBron James, in fact, running the Lakers, which sounds insane. And I agree, it sounds insane, and yet it looks like it. So I don't know where
he must have something. I think he has something on the Lakers. There was a moment of contention between Jeannie Buss and LeBron James and Clutch Sports. There was a huge moment of contention between them. When she came out, she was saying like, "Oh, I wish Kobe were here. He would understand everything." You know, she even blasted them for not being available for games. So there was a big point of contention, and something happened. And I wonder if Clutch Sports has something on Jeannie Buss, like, "Hey, I'm going to make sure that you don't get any players." Like, Rich Paul he's got the players on lock. He's got a lot of the talent in the league that he is able to move around. He could make it that the Lakers don't get new talent. He could make it that many players don't go to the Lakers. So I'm just wondering, what is it? Because something changed.
What changed was LeBron. Well, I just gotta say this real quick. It's gonna be real quick, man. LeBron put his wood inside the woman. Did you remember when they were courtside and they were fondling all over LeBron?
Yep. Wasn't that him and Kurt? Wasn't that Kurt Rambis' wife too?
Yeah.
Oh, they had the menage a trois.
Oh yeah.
That's gross. That is fucking disgusting. We should move past that. That's me saying that.
Yeah, we don't know what they did in the bedroom, but I tell you what, not many people will get away with that sort of public display of affection when the people are in relationships.
The herpes strikes again. You guys are welcome.
Anyway, Just Messenger says, easy to beat LBJ. Ask him what's on page 2. That's good. Fun.
It's good.
Bad Anana says, Paul beat Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson beat LeBron.
Yep.
Like it. Top Dog says, Steph Curry is closer to Jordan than LeBron ever was. He influenced younger generations to play like him, just like Jordan did. LeBron has never done that. And people, yeah.
I agree with that. If you think about it, everybody wants to play like who today?
Steph Curry.
The only way you can play like LeBron is if you're 6'9", 250 and run over people, not if you're not.
Well, I mean, Giannis plays like that. Giannis plays like that. He bum rushes the lane, but everybody wants to play like Steph.
Well, AOH, think about this for a second. This is let me just go in a different direction. Jokic, actually, did he not average a triple-double for the season? But we don't hear about that, right? But LeBron James has never done that. But Jokic is more efficient. But see, we don't hear that. That just gets swept under the rug for some reason.
Well, we hear about when he loses. He averaged a triple-double, but if he has a triple-double when they lose, we'll hear about it.
Check his stats.
Jimmy James.
Salty as hell. Salty comments.
Jimmy James. Shaq has 5,935
Hear about
career.
it when he loses.
That's hey, that's what you guys.
man.
That's what you guys reference. I'm quoting you from earlier.
That was really
that was the game that you used, right?
One quote.
Shaq has. All right, Zay, you read this.
From Jimmy James C. Shaq has 5,930.
Killing me, man. You guys are weird.
Why he's even interrupting you, Zay? Someone else want to try reading it?
Derailing.
Hey, what's going on?
Dom, you agree with Robin? Maybe he won't interrupt you. You want to read it?
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Jimmy James C. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Shaq has 5,935 career free throws. Steph has 4,032. Therefore, Shaq is a better free throw shooter. LeBum fan logic.
Interesting. Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Mark with the CA Canadian dollars $5. I expect LeBron to play 3 more seasons. I do too, unfortunately. The 27-28 season will be an insufferable farewell tour, finishing with the 28 LA Olympics. My God. Wow, that's a dark prediction that could be true.
Oh, that'd be rough. You don't think he'll retire year 23? Thinking that's real clever?
I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think?
That's exactly. He'll retire after his 23rd season, and Nike will make a whole campaign about it, and they'll think it's real clever. Number 23 retiring at 23rd season,
Yep.
blah blah blah. Just wait.
If there's no farewell tour announced, it's not happening.
I'm about to say he needs more time for the announcement.
Oh,
he
yeah,
needs
you're
to have
right.
a
No,
whole
you're right.
preparation.
You guys are right. Dead on with that.
Sports T, you've got one there on the screen.
Aw, thank you, Carlito, for the $1.99 super chat. Sports T, let's go. Talk to me nice.
Hoops God, read this one.
LaShannon choked that girl just to feel like a joke.
You know what? I don't pre-read these. I'm not trying to set you up to have to read something awkward. I'm sorry. I'm really not.
Hold on. But wait. I want to say something, guys. Okay, so hold on. There's a sentence here, right? They sound the same, but there's 2 different meanings. Because we know what LeBron does. I mean, that's just we've seen it for the last 22 years. We know that. But with Shannon, with all due respect to him, I believe that was consensual. I mean, because listen, when he gets on the basketball rants, I tune him out. But a situation like this, I really believe this is a shakedown with Shannon. But I have to hold him accountable simply because Shannon Sharp, you are supposed to be that sage, wise elder giving the game to the youngsters, and you're out here getting caught up like one of them. So yeah, I just want to interject with that right there. But that was still funny.
Hey, shakedown or no shakedown, I just don't think you stay on TV getting to talk to the world after you were exposed talking about choking people and dog chaining.
Absolutely not.
The optics are just awful.
Yeah. Real quick, to play devil's advocate, Joy Taylor is still on TV every day, A. And B, Shannon Sharp had his whole little marketing push when that dick pill thing came out, was supposedly fake and all that stuff. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That's how he got famous.
The nightclub
thing came out on purpose.
Yeah, the nightclub.
That's why he's relevant now. That and the Cat Williams interview. Otherwise, nobody's checking for Shannon Sharp because he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's why he's not on TV now, because all that Lakers and 5 bullshit. If he's not marketable, he's gone. Just like Kendrick Perkins should be. These guys keep these jobs based on talks from years ago. And it's ridiculous. It's just going to continue. Sorry, I needed to get that out real quick.
Robin, read Praise the Dawn on the screen.
Shout out to Praise the Dawn, man. A true supporter of our live streams. Woo-Sa Sports and Fitness Rants. Much love for the panel. Keep cooking.
This one's for you, Zay.
Y'all so bad. Oh my God, what a panel. 93 Zay, I loved your live feed. LeBron is a bum. Let's go. Appreciate to all 1,200 of y'all who tapped in, man. We was in there deep.
Yes,
real
indeed.
deep.
Dallas wants to know if we're going to take calls. Let me blast through some super chats and we'll take calls. Yeah, panel, what did we not get to that is a necessity? Well, think about it. You don't have to answer now. Think about it before we take calls. Is there something we didn't address that is a necessity?
I think whether or not LeBron is going to be leaving the Lakers, I think is something that's been trending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
And Darvin
I
Ham
believe
league-wide apologies.
Savage Shun says, respect to Robin for stopping the narrative, stopping the lies, stopping the narrative. Jolly Josham says, this one is SNF on his Nuggets. Huh? I don't know. Read it, Robin.
Oh, Lord. Jolly Joshams. This one is Sports and Fitness Rants on his Nuggets take. Love all you guys, but he is right about the Nuggets. I think people get lost in the fact of how inconsistent scoring is in the league, relying on the three, and just assume the Nuggets are bad. Yo, much respect to all you guys. Yo, once again, man, yo, no disrespect to anyone out there. All the people out there don't agree with me all the time. You're not going to agree with everything that I say, but that doesn't mean that I'm wrong, man. And once again, people don't misrepresent what I'm saying or put words in my mouth, man. I got the facts. I've done the money. Nikola Jokic is great. I never once said he was not. I never once said the Nuggets are better without him. I never once said they're going to win a championship without Nikola Jokic. None of this stuff, man. All I've been saying is, one, Nikola Jokic historically is not as great as people are trying to make him out to be, because this era's weak and we all know it. And two, his teammates are not bums. That's all I'm saying. No, they're not great, all-time greats. They're not bums, though, man. He ain't carrying bums. Them dudes stepped up big, and everyone owes me a damn apology, man. And on that damn note, I'm up out of here. I gotta go, man, before I pass myself out up in here. But you know I got the facts, so I don't want to hear enough from anybody who got a problem with my damn channel or what the hell I'm doing. I'm on the money. Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm out.
Breathe, brother. Breathe.
My goodness.
I don't even know what just happened.
Hey, Sports and
That's
Fitness
common.
Rants turned up.
Hey, that's common
Somebody
practice.
gonna be clipping this.
Fitness, like he does that on the regular.
I love Robin.
Robin turned up today. He is turned.
I don't think he heard me. He accused me of not hearing him. I don't think he heard me.
You guys did that on purpose.
Well, a lot of people want to talk about Jokic and the Nuggets, and Robin does do a lot of videos about Jokic and the Nuggets. And my thing is, what did Jokic do? I think we're hearing.
He turned the ball over. I can tell you what Jokic did. So he turns the ball over at a high clip. He also can't run, jump, or dunk the ball.
Right. But take the gameplay out. I think, as you said earlier, it's the way that LeBron behaves and the way that Jokic behaves that makes people say, well, geez, if LeBron year after year gets ESPN saying, get him some help, and Nuggets aren't doing that, and Jokic isn't complaining, saying, hey, bring it to me.
But ESPN does the same thing for Jokic. So we do have to call it out. That's the problem, is it's the same thing. So ESPN does the same thing, saying Jokic needs help, but they also do the same thing for LeBron. And some analysts actually will say, well, how much more help does LeBron need? But nobody does that for Nikola Jokic. We do need to keep some level of consistency. That's the point. That's the criticism. And it's not a Jokic criticism. I've said it multiple times. I think he's very humble. I think he's a great leader of his team. His team loves him. Clearly, they're willing to fight for him. They're willing to defend for him. You know, that they're willing to do all of this because he seems like a really good teammate. But
I still don't think my primary point is being made. We are reacting to ESPN and taking the bait and making videos or reacting negatively toward Jokic based on that. We aren't reacting to Jokic doing anything that he has said, whereas LeBron says all kinds of ridiculous horseshit. I just feel like it's almost like being tricked into spending part of the energy on Jokic when he's keeping his mouth shut.
See, I don't spend the energy on Jokic. I spend the energy on the narratives and what someone said. So I will respond to that. So it's not, to me, my criticism is not Jokic based unless I'm talking about his actual game. So if I'm breaking down his game, I'm going to say, hey, he turns over the ball quite a bit. Hey, I don't think he should be bringing down the ball, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I just criticize his actual game.
That's fine. And I've certainly, Robin and I have already had this conversation. I'm not comparing Jokic to one of the all-time greats. I don't even like comparing eras because they're not playing the same sport anymore. I agree with that completely.
I'm with you 100%. Like, I don't think Jokic is comparable to Shaq or to Wilt Chamberlain. These comparisons should never be made. I
wish we could compare them. I wish we could. They're not playing the same sport. We can't do it even if we want to. Go ahead and read this one, Sports T. You're mentioned in it.
Thank you, Gary, for the $10 super chat. Let's keep the peace. Thank you, Sports T, for your calming presence and sports intellect. Salute AOH for your consistency, and salute to my man SFR for keeping that same energy. Salute Zay for your content.
Hey, salute, Gary. Appreciate you.
Mike Lowry, when in the history of the NBA have we started glazing a 290 paid big man that passes a lot, can shoot a little bit, no defense, cries to the refs, and can't jump over a yellow pages book? Who are we talking about? 290?
My guess is that's Nikola Jokic, so he can't run or jump or dunk the ball.
Yeah, they said he can't jump over a piece of paper.
But somehow he's been able to dominate. So
yeah, you shouldn't average a triple-double if all those physical problems are real. That's an indictment of the NBA.
For sure.
Gemini Girl says Kevin Gates was trolling Savannah's sperm donor at that game. Jesus Christ.
You guys are vicious.
Begging him to pull up. You walk over, but you're going to be limping back.
Maybe that's why he was limping. Hey, where'd Robin go?
I don't know.
Oh, he crashed out?
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Where's Hoops God?
He said he had to go. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna text Robin a bunch of shit. I'm gonna talk. Are we taking callers?
Yeah. All right, let's take callers. Hey, Zay, read these last comments for me, please.
All right, from Yale K. That courtside show with Bus was a distraction from the more allegations coming out about him using steroids. I don't know about that, but the allegations are coming. They're coming.
All right, keep going.
Doctor with the fan, 93Z. You're gonna make a merch t-shirt showing you wearing a white coat and says you're sick. Knock it off. I'm Dr. Zay. Welcome to the asylum. Dr. Zay, y'all. Top dog with the 5. How was Braun the GOAT when Curry was more influential than him and has as many rings as him and was part of a dynasty? Stayed with the same team since 2009. What y'all think?
People don't talk about the ankle injuries that Steph Curry overcame to get to where he is now.
He should have limped to the podium with a cast on.
Oh, he should have. He seriously should have. Like, because what did they list him at? What, 6'3", right? And he's not my GOAT, don't get me wrong, but he should be the face of this era just based on just skill, shot, like athleticism, shot making ability. The fact that when he needed to gain weight, put on muscle, he did. The fact that he can shoot from anywhere in the gym, he can get to the paint. His handle is next to almost. I mean, maybe Kyrie has better handle right now, but other than that, it's like he's offensively this unstoppable machine at a very under average size for an NBA player. He's not talked about enough. It's kind of scary.
I'm putting the call-in link up. Robin, if you're listening, sorry to see you go.
Yeah, man, they disrespect the chef, man. I used to disrespect Curry. I ain't gonna lie. I used to hate them Beige brothers. The Beige brothers used to piss me off. Oh my God.
I mean, is it really disrespect though to talk about how he crumbled in 2016 when there was some physical defense? And he's since really worked on that. So he looks much better under physical, like pressure defense, but he didn't in 2016.
King Speech, you're on first.
Hey, salute guys. How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
The only Knicks fan in the world. Come on.
The only Knicks
fan. No, me too, Zay. Look at my background. I'm a Knicks fan. Go Knicks.
How you doing, Dominique? Yeah, it's good. It's orange and blue skies right now. You know, I can't wait for Monday.
Y'all still had an NBA logo on y'all streams right now.
So I was on that Zesty channel last night debating. I had a debate with Mr. T Perfect, and it didn't go as planned. And I just realized something, the morning after, especially when you guys were talking about the excuses. I had 15 minutes to break down 22 years of LeBron's BS excuses, and that's damn near impossible. Like, it's been 22 years. Like, I go back to 04. The teammates didn't like me. 05, even though he had an all-star, couldn't make the playoffs. 06, Wade, it was Wade's time. 07, they guarded me 5-on-1. The last 7 years of injury excuses, I knew I was waiting for one to come out, because it did. When he left the court, there was no limp. Then we see the backstage. I mean, we see the going back to the locker room. All of a sudden, he's limping to his family. Okay, so now we have a mysterious MCL injury that he would have needed a month to recover from. And it's also Luka's fault. And and I also said that he didn't pick JJ Redick as coach. Like, there's no proof that he got JJ Redick the coaching job. So now that JJ Redick coached such a horrible series where, again, they scored 85 points in the fourth quarters of 5 games. That's 85 points in 60 minutes of the most important part of a basketball game. And LeBron James, they also said he should have been Clutch Player of the Year.
Right.
I mean, 85 points in 60 minutes.
They also said that LeBron was staying. They said that LeBron was staying out of the coaching thing entirely, and then he texted the college coach saying, "Hey, I approve of you coming over." Well, that's not staying out of it, is it?
LeBron is the king of throwing stones and hiding his hands. Like, because if it works out, he's a genius. JJ Riley, right? JJ the Knicks Pat Riley. But when it doesn't, now it's everybody else's fault. It's Luka. If I'm Luka, I can go anywhere I want at this point. What's a few dollars for my sanity and my legacy? Do I want to stay in this? LA will have no picks. They will have no money to spend. They, Jeannie Buss will still believe whatever LeBron. We really believe that LeBron was great. He had one good game where he scored no points he didn't record a stat in the last 5 minutes, right? So that 38-point game, and then he was mediocre the last 2 games, and then we blame it on a knee injury because he crumpled to the floor.
Hey, as usual, great stuff, King Speech. I'm keeping everyone short because the waiting room is already full. Appreciate you calling in.
Salute, guys. All right.
Cool. See, Haas is next. He's not going to let me cut him off. Haas, you gotta execute some willpower here because we got a lot of people that want to talk today. Haas, you're on.
Salute, AOH. I've been holding my tongue about this for a few months now, because when the trade happened, I thought it would have been a fair trade if Dallas had gotten one first-round pick, at least one first-round pick, even possibly 2 first-round picks. I think it would have been a fair deal.
Yeah,
so I think the Lakers fleeced that trade. Yeah. But secretly, sort of privately, I was happy to see that trade, and here's why. Because I knew, based on the past experiences and based on my understanding of basketball, that LeBron James was going to make Luka worse.
Yeah.
Not just average, not just like average, but he was going to make Luka demonstrably worse. And that's exactly what happened. LeBron made Chris Bosh worse. LeBron made Kevin Love worse. LeBron made Luka Doncic actually worse as a basketball player. And I want to expound just a little bit on that because there's a reason why this happens, okay? The reason why this happens is because LeBron James is a one-trick pony in much of the same way that Shaq was a one-trick pony. LeBron gets his stuff from 0 to 3 feet from the rim, just like Shaq got his from 0 to 3 feet from the rim. Outside 3 feet from the rim, LeBron's below league average. You can go to basketballreference.com, scroll down. There's stats about field goal percentage based on distance from the rim. Outside 3 feet from the rim, even 3 to 10 feet, LeBron is below league average.
Yeah.
So like Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron gets his stuff at the rim. So what does that mean? That means LeBron's a one-trick pony where he's used the soft defensive rules of the league, and he's taken advantage of those. And what happens is he gets a screen set, so he gets switched onto a smaller guard. Yeah. Then he steamrolls that guard to the rack, and he gets a layup or a dunk. That's what he's done his whole career. He's a one-trick pony, and it's impossible for other stars in the league to coexist with that dynamic of a basketball game because that's not really a flow of an entire offense. That's a one trick for LeBron's, for LeBron's bitch ass, and he has nothing else to his bag. Amen. So the other star is limited to being a spot-up shooter in most cases. That's why the players that LeBron makes better, in his entire career, they're the Mike Millers. They're the J.R. Smiths. They're these guys that are just spot-up three-point shooters. He might make them a little bit better because when he drives into the lane and steamrolls guys in the lane, yes, sometimes there's a collapse and he can kick it out to a three-point shooter. So the spot-up three-point shooters might get a little bit better, but everyone else, including the stars, get worse or stay the same or get demonstrably worse. And that's what happened his entire career, and that's got to be documented historically so that he gets knocked. His legacy gets knocked for that.
Amen. We're going to work on that. We're trying to document it. And Robin, I wish you were here because I was going to shit on Kenny the Jet. Kenny the Jet on Inside the NBA said that what really needs to happen is to put LeBron on in the three position and put him up on a smaller three because that's his superpower. In other words, the only thing LeBron has is size on a smaller player, and the entire rest of the team has to accommodate for that. You can't play people at the position that you actually want to because LeBron's so bad at everything. Now you're going to put him guarding a three because the only thing he has is size, and that only works part of the time. Kenny, the Jet, you're crap. The rest of the panel, would you like to respond to Haas? He had good stuff.
I just want to ask, did he say that, what up, Haas? I didn't get a chance to say what's up to you. Did he say that Shaq was a one-trick pony, or did I mishear that?
I thought he said LeBron was.
Oh,
Haas,
okay.
Go ahead, Haas.
Well, it is true that, Shaq's one trick was really dominant, but you could say Shaq was a one-trick pony. It's just that his trick was really damn good.
So my only response to that, so I agree to an extent. However, when he was put in a position where he had to learn footwork, where he had to have a soft touch at the rim, even his free throw shooting, as abysmal as it was for a while there, it did go up. So he at least made some adjustments to his game that made him further dominant. You and I have both been alive long enough to say that we saw those 2000s Lakers, and there was no answer for Shaq before he learned any kind of technical skill. But then when he had to, it was just like, there's nothing you can do with this man.
Let's call it a primary trick. And there's nothing wrong with it because he was obviously physically dominant. I would say that it's his primary trick, but Shaq is a very agile big man.
And he could also handle the ball. When people forget what he looked like in 92 and like when he was on the Orlando Magic team, like he was very mobile, he was very quick, he could handle the ball, he was shattering the backboard. So yes, he was dominant, but the reason why I hate this LeBron and Shaq comparison is because Shaq was not masquerading as a guard.
Yeah.
We have to stop this. We have to stop comparing LeBron James to people who are not analogous. He is masquerading as a guard. That's the problem when he's really a power forward. He needs to be compared to guys like a David Robinson, a Giannis, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett. Those are the guys he's comparable to, and they're all better than him because they actually played their true position and they played it well. Shaq also played his position as center. That's not analogous to LeBron James, though.
Good stuff, Dominique. I'm bringing in Top Dog. And we're going to go fast, everybody. Got people waiting. Top Dog, what's primarily on your mind?
I'm just saying I don't understand how LeBron is this GOAT. Like, he's not even a GOAT of his own era. Like, I just put out that super chat, talking about that. It's like, how can you compare him to, like, Jordan and Bird and all these guys when he's not even a GOAT of his own era, in my opinion? I mean, you just think of it. Like, Curry has won as many rings as him, has beat him in the finals, like, 3 times, was part of a dynasty that was organic. Yes, they had Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant came to them. They didn't go to Kevin Durant. LeBron James, his whole career has been going nothing but has been joining super teams. He had to go to Wade. He had to go to, join with Bosh. He had to go back to Cleveland. He had to go join Kyrie. Then he had to get Anthony Davis. Like, how can people compare this guy to Jordan? When Jordan beat his competition, Jordan was part of a dynasty. It was organic. The only top 75 player that Jordan had was Pippen. You compare that to LeBron, like, this dude has had multiple 75 top players. You can literally make a team. You can make a team with LeBron, Kyrie, Luka, Anthony Davis, Wade, and Bosh. That's literally a whole team. Like, so I don't understand this narrative that he's a GOAT. Like,
Top Dog, you're on it. The narrative is just what we're being fed to by the media. It doesn't exist otherwise. It doesn't. I mean, so you're on it. I mean, it doesn't exist without the media. Sports Facts says Steph is definitely the face of this era. He is a very skilled athlete who makes the game easier for his teammates by his gravity, his winning. Oh, God damn it. All right, Timmy, something about 75 player. You can't have typos when I'm reading small print or I'm going to struggle.
Right, I promise you we could read, y'all. It's just some of y'all shit be out of hand.
Hey, in the age of autocorrect, I type things correctly, and this shit's gotten so dumb that it intentionally makes me type incorrectly. So I'm not going to shit on everyone too much for their typing in these days. Dallas, I'm going to bring.
I think he's saying the unanimous MVP.
Huh?
Yeah. I think he's calling out like the fact that Steph Curry won the unanimous MVP over LeBron James, which I think is something that's really, so Paul Pierce talked about that, how like, okay, well, if Steph Curry were to win a 5th ring this year or whenever, that would mean that he should be really in that conversation with Michael Jordan. I disagree to that point. I don't think anybody from this era should be compared to any past greats. Anybody from 2003 and beyond has nothing to do with any of those guys that played before. Totally different sport, to your point, AOH. But Steph Curry, to not even be able to get one single MVP vote, and you're supposed to be the GOAT, for there to be a debate or for there to be another player that's considered the best any year that you've played in your prime is, to me, you cannot be considered the GOAT. You can't be considered the greatest of all time if people in your era are dominating. And just like Steph Curry was a unanimous MVP. LeBron did not get one single vote in his prime.
Well, the thing is, like, somehow LeBron surpassed Kobe, and Kobe has more rings. So if Steph gets another ring, if you can shit on Kobe, why can't you shit on Steph?
I know, like if you have the power to do that and the media is pushing that, it's absolutely insane. That's why we have to be here to consistently speak out against it. We can't talk about real basketball. We have to just, combat these lies every day.
Dallas, you're on.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'll be quick. I'm not gonna even talk about LeBron today. I just want to touch on a couple of different things that I see. One of them is the whole Anthony Edwards thing. I like Anthony Edwards' game, but it's still questioned there for me. And I don't understand why he's being lifted up to this face. And you got what Donovan Mitchell did this year, what Tatum has done the last 4 or 5 years. Like, why? I just don't understand why we don't give him the same credit, even if you don't like the way his game looked. That's one. Two, I don't think Savannah wants LeBron at home. I think that's why LeBron is playing. I think he knows once he goes home, it's going to be a wrap. I'll tell you that now. That's two. Three, it's something I didn't like about what Westbrook did in that last game. I didn't like that technical that he got in the end. I didn't really. I was looking. I was like, I get it. You hype, but I just thought it was a situation where it's like it's a first round playoff series. You're the higher seed. You're really supposed to win. So I'm curious to see how he plays in this second round. because Russ is so up and down. He's so like he has one good game, and then he'll just do a whole bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna leave those three things. I'll let other callers come on. And I'll sit back and listen to you guys.
Thank you, Dallas. That's good stuff. You know, I think Anthony Edwards, his style of play was important, but you got some nerve to walk through the streets of LA when you didn't have a very good series saying, I sent you home. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Rudy Gobert stole the stage.
Can somebody tell me what Russ did to get that T?
Huh?
What did Russell Westbrook do to get that T? I missed that.
Oh, he intentionally did it. He apparently he hung on the rim on a dunk and didn't get teed up. So somehow he wanted to get teed up, which I think is petty because the Clippers are actually a season removed from his history. How are you still hanging on to this?
So the thing about Westbrook, real quick, is speaking about players that LeBron didn't make better. He was the ultimate easy win for LeBron, because if you win with Westbrook, it's because you made him great. If you lost with Westbrook, it's because it's just Westbrook being Westbrook. And that man, and AOH, I've watched multiple videos that you've done about this. That man was drugged through the mud, like the Los Angeles mud, for days and days and months and months and months, when he was the most consistent player on that team. He played more than anybody, and his wife had to defend him, and all these guys are going at his throat. And as far as I'm concerned, because I think he plays with more heart than anybody in the league right now. I think one of you guys said that earlier. I'm okay with him doing whatever he wants, quite frankly, because he's taken hits that he just did not deserve throughout his career.
I'm going to say this. No more Anthony Edwards slander. Anthony Edwards is the legend killer. He has eliminated the old heads. He's getting the old heads out of here. You know what I mean? Anthony Edwards had to deal with the officiating of this series where in game three, he shot 0 free throws. That is an abomination to the sport of basketball.
Wait, say that stat again. Say that again.
He shot 0 free throws.
When?
Game 3, I believe. Game 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
0. It's unbelievable. I mean, at the end of the day, somebody has to get Rudy Gobert the ball. He can't dribble the ball. Who was getting him the ball? Anthony Edwards, right? Anthony Edwards, they were trying to build a wall at the perimeter to keep Anthony Edwards out of the paint. And what he was doing, getting into Rudy Gobert. That's what he's supposed to do.
The same thing that we would credit Jokic for, the same thing that we would credit Luka Doncic for, is the same thing that Anthony Edwards was doing. He didn't have a great shooting night personally, and there were a couple of nights he was off shooting-wise, but he was still able to find his teammates. He was still able to have an impact on the game, and meaningful impact on the game. He was able to be in control of the game and work through his teammates.
Yeah, except that Gobert wasn't really getting fed as much as he was cleaning up missed three-pointers.
Yes, he didn't shoot well from three. And that's something that I've always talked about with him. I don't want you shooting 11, 12 threes a game. That's not
they were picking up Anthony Edwards. So they were picking him up right at half court, and he was throwing the ball right into the dunker spot. I mean, that was happening. That happened a few times. He did also clean up, like you said, right off rebounds, because there was no rim protector anywhere in sight. So the Lakers had no interior play, and he was able to dominate. But to that point, that was every single game they had no interior play. You know what I mean? And a different person on the Timberwolves cooked their asses every single game. To your point, Zay, it was belt to ass every single game by different people.
Yes, thank you.
And the only game that wasn't belt to ass was where they didn't call a single foul in Edwards.
Correct. Exactly. That was where the refs helped them, and the refs helped them every single game, and they still lost this series.
And wait till I drop these. Wait till I drop this video about these questions that the media was asking and not asking after each of these terrible ass performances.
Can't wait.
Also, Russell Westbrook deserved to get it in. You know what I'm saying? He just got the steal, fast break steal, dunk. They were just exploding. No Diddy. They were exploding on the Clippers, man. It was unbelievable what I saw at the end of that third quarter. That was crazy.
J Pitt, you're on.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Another banger of a show. You guys are beautiful, every single one of y'all. It's good to see Sports T here. Hope she comes back. She's absolutely brilliant. So I want to. There were some discussions about the future of the league, and it seems to be pretty bleak. It seems to be kind of negative. I would like to say that from what I've seen in these playoffs, I think the future looks pretty bright with teams like the Pistons and teams like Orlando, who are making some noise in the first round, led by Paulo Branquero and Cade Cunningham, respectively, on both teams. Jalen Brunson doing his thing in New York. I love that guy. I absolutely love that guy. Just across the board, Anthony Edwards maturing as he goes along, watching him grow. I think the NBA is in a very, very good position. And also the fact that the refs are kind of letting the players play. I think they're experimenting currently with all the feedback that they have been getting from the fans recently. I think they're starting to adjust and adapt, and they're understanding like what we're all talking about. And you guys just need to keep doing what you're doing. Do not relent. Keep it going. Keep it flowing. Shout out to Sports and Fitness Rants. We need his passion. You guys, we need to stick together and get through this.
Just don't challenge him or he'll leave. Sports
like
Fitness Rants,
died.
we missed you, buddy. Jay Pitt, that was good. Thank you. You know what? He might have a point. I'm pretty down on the NBA.
Okay.
Huh? I'm pretty down on the NBA, but we might be looking at some good playoffs. And now we can sit back and watch the playoffs and see if we should have hope for the NBA.
Yes, because I will be live for Game 7 tonight, y'all.
Oh shit, that's right. Oh boy,
Game 7.
Hey Dom, I never recovered from 2016. By the way, never did. It's hard. It's still hard for me to get very excited for the Warriors. As many things as went wrong for the Warriors with the injuries and the refs, they still make a goddamn shot.
I know. That 2016 loss, it was just so gut-wrenching, and it gave LeBron this.
It kept LeBron alive.
Imagine if he'd lost that one too. We might
not
all
only
not
did
be
it keep him alive
together.
Somehow it sent him to the best ever.
Somehow that made him say, that just made me the greatest right there.
Oh man.
93 Zay went to the parade, y'all. I was at the parade.
You were there?
I was there. Yes. 11 hours. Drove 11 hours. Oh, I was deep in the fanboy days. Oh
man, we have to do something together, 93 Zay. You are hilarious.
Oh yeah, for sure. We definitely gonna have to. That's what the streets want. The streets want it.
They're asking.
Zay, what does Robert say? I can't see the emoji.
Robert, he said the year is 2049. Still no space program for the Rockets, and the Clippers are still doing Clipper activities. Yeah, RP the Rockets, man. I don't know. We're gonna see. We are
gonna see.
Clippers turn to the strippers.
Daniel Parker, you're on.
Hey guys, awesome. Y'all hear me?
Yes.
Great. I had one comment because guys, when y'all were talking about the biggest flops of LeBron, I had one that came to mind, and I was like, I don't know if they know about this one. So he goes down on this play, and there's either a contact foul or like a skirmish that happens off to the other side, and nobody looks at LeBron. So when they pan back, there's an open court view. LeBron looks around, sees no one's paying attention to me, gets up, walks over to where the spot of the foul was, collapses again, and has to get resuscitated there. He moved himself to the attention.
You got to get me some details on that.
That's that Chris Paul foul. That's that flagrant they tried to give to Chris Paul when LeBron went over his back. And
on the free throw?
Yeah. No. This is two other players got into it speed.
Yikes.
This is an older one, but they two other players got into it. Basically, he went down on the play, but then he was like around. He was in the paint. But this happened at about the 3 line, and so he gets up, finds the courage, and then stumbles and collapses again where the cameras are focused. So he's noticed them. I will find you the video. I will send it to you.
Good. That's crazy.
But it is very hard to look up though because there's so many examples of flopping.
Yeah. All right, I'll watch for that.
So, all right, appreciate it, AOH.
Thank you, Daniel. Wow. Anyone else see that? Or they hide
No,
that
I
one?
thought he was talking about the Chris Paul one because he did fall. He fell into where the other injury was taking place.
Yeah, but he didn't get up and walk to a new place for a better camera angle or whatever.
It just sounds like we're describing a trash human being at this point. You know what I mean? Not even basketball anymore. It's just a terrible person.
Sounds like we're describing a comedy. Roger Hurt says Ant-Man is the geriatric killer. When MCL sprain retires, the NBA will emerge from the dark ages and be great again. If not, there's always pickleball.
We're going to have to move to pickleball because LeBron's going to retire and it's going to get worse, guys. It's going to get worse. You can see from that Starting Five documentary, he completely set up the other players in that documentary and just everybody in the NBA that there's not going to be another face of the league. Only he can do it. Nobody wants it.
I did not get very far into that, but I believe you. I've seen sound clips and it's
a hard watch.
I got a question. Do y'all think there will be a headline about any other player during LeBron's farewell season?
Oh, geez.
Will there be any other stories in the NBA but his farewell season?
Bronny, Bryce. Maybe Rich Paul will be on the team at that point.
Yeah,
to that. Go ahead.
I think there's going to be people that are going to be looking to expose LeBron. So he's going to be battling a couple of things. On his way out, there's going to be probably some Labalco stories dropping, right? I think there's going to be some things that are going to come out and he's going to have to work overtime in the La Media. So I do think that there's going to be some other bombshells during his farewell tour.
To your theme, Zay, for this postseason, how much are we still going to hear about LeBron instead of the guys that are on the screen in front of us?
Roger Hurt. Wait, you said what? My bad. I was trying to type and read this comment. What'd you say?
That's all right. Top Dog says, my OKC Thunder about to win the chip 9 years after KD choked the series for us and couldn't be happier. Listen, the Warriors pissed me off so bad that I would have rather seen OKC make it to the finals that year, but not if they were going to choke against the Cavs the way they choked against the Warriors. Although Steph Curry was pretty magical at the end of those games. He pulled off some miracle shit. Nick Tri-State, you're on.
How y'all doing?
Good afternoon.
What's happening, y'all? What's happening? Hey, y'all see my comment? What about when LeBron, quote unquote, broke his hand in the 2018 finals from punching the whiteboard? How about that one? How about that excuse?
We talked about that early on.
Oh, man.
Him picking shit up, unbuttoning his jacket, slamming his hand down.
Lay excuses. I have one quick question for y'all. What player left in the playoffs benefits the most from winning a championship this year? Like whose legacies, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, if what people on the panel have said is true, if it would actually help Steph Curry officially take these decades away from LeBron, then Steph. If in fact they really want Ant Edwards to be the next face, then Ant Edwards. Well, you mentioned other people mentioned Donovan Mitchell should be getting more love than he is.
He's getting no love at all, and I don't know why.
I know why. Donovan Mitchell doesn't get the love and praise he deserves because he's always been a really great regular season player and drops off in the postseason. And typically his ceiling has been the second round. So himself, OKC, New York Knicks, they're up against the same impending doom is a second round hole. And can they get out of it? Can they at least make it to the elusive Eastern Western Conference Finals?
One more quick thing. If Russell Westbrook plays well and they win a championship, does that get him into the top 5 point guards of all time conversation?
No, because he wouldn't be a first or I don't even think a second or a third option on this Nuggets team. So I think he's averaging somewhere around 20, 25 minutes of play. He comes off the bench. So he came off the bench and outplayed James Harden, right? Yeah. But I don't think that it changes his legacy. It would just be that at least he's won a title. So he won't be overrated per se as a point guard anymore. And I don't think that he'll be considered like a good for nothing Hall of Famer if he wins the title. It gets him out of the Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing discussion, and it puts him in the room with champions, but I don't think that it changes his legacy because he wasn't the star player of the team.
I think if he plays this well the rest of the postseason, Denver's going to be a tough out. If he plays the way he played last night, they're going to be a tough out, in my opinion.
Yeah, he had 5 steals last night. Like Russell Westbrook was crazy on.
Can I just posit that I think the Knicks, if they were to get a ring, I think that would make Jalen Brunson look like the greatest thing to happen to the Knicks in forever. The sacrificing his money and being such an openly supportive teammate and just really, clutch player of the year for the Knicks to get a chip under those premises, I think would be just like, that would be earth shattering for me. And I'm not even a Knicks fan all like that.
I'm with you. As a Knicks fan, it's earth shattering to me. I just don't think that it changes the Knicks and like Jalen Brunson perception in the media still. Even with that title, the media is going to still work overtime. The only thing I think it changes for Brunson is the fact that a guard of his size, under 6 feet, or small guards can't win a title. And that you need something different. So I think that's cool.
And will the media take the low-hanging fruit that Cat is what's changed about the team? Will they try and give the credit to Cat?
They'll give the credit to Cat, even though, Brunson did all of these things.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Say.
No, I was gonna just say if my auntie had nuts, she'd be my uncle. I mean, this is all that we're talking about with the Knicks. I wish. But we know what's going to happen to the Knicks this round. You got Karl Anthony Towns. You think Karl Anthony Towns, if he was playing in that series versus the Lakers would have sent the Wolves home. Let's just be honest.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I've never, Julius Randle, y'all, they talk a lot of shit about him and his playoff performances, him not being available. What he did in that first round right there, Cat wouldn't have been able to do. Cat would have got bullied during that series. Let's just keep it a buck.
I agree with you.
I'll be honest. I think that if the Knicks face the Lakers, and I think it would have been the same outcome. I think almost any team would have sent the Lakers packing in this first round. They are just not built for playoff play, period. But I will say that Karl Anthony Towns is soft, and I thought that they both were I thought that trade was going to make my Knicks and the Timberwolves a first round knockout. Julius Randle didn't play well for the Knicks. He was awful. And I wanted him gone. And I'm happy for him that he's playing at this level with Timberwolves. And it's because they're a small market team. The press isn't after them. New York eats people alive. Julius Randle could not handle that pressure. And that's why he played like shit every single postseason.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I just want to say, like, you have a soft-spoken, nice, feminine voice, and your voice is deeper than Karl Anthony Towns. Like, what the fuck? Has anybody heard him talk?
Honestly, it's shocking to me that he's got that girlfriend too. I don't know how she listens to that or puts up with it, but he seems to be a nice man. Yeah, I'm with you. They're calling him, the crazy thing is that he's from the East Coast. He's from New Jersey. They're calling him Bodega Cat. I thought it was a joke. And I was like, come postseason, we're going to see some soft play. And I do want to give him some credit because he's increased his level of aggression against the Pistons. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting to see Karl Anthony Towns deliver in that way, but he did. And he's getting more aggressive because he knows he can't play soft basketball in New York. He'll get eaten up. New Yorkers, we need to see you try. Us New Yorkers, we need to see you try. We need to see you play hard. And if you can do that, you're fine. We don't need wins. We're just like the Clippers selling hope. We're selling hustle. We're selling hustle. We're pushing P. We're not pushing wins.
There's something interesting here. We haven't even mentioned the defending champs who are having a great season. What is wrong with these Celtics? Why nobody wants? They're just not interesting, I guess.
They're not a likable team. They're not a likable team at all. Jason Tatum is like he's like a lost soul. He's trying so hard to get a personality or an identity when he kind of has no business not being in MVP conversation at this point, because it should, I hate to say it, but it should be his team, not Jaylen Brown's team. I know a lot of people don't think that, but you have contracts like that. They're just a lost team. They have no real identity at all.
We've seen Jason Tatum crumble in big moments too often, where we've seen Jaylen Brown step up and be the explosion that the team needed. He deserved Eastern Conference MVP as well as the Finals MVP last year, and that's why he got it. Jason Tatum might very well should be the guy and the player, but he plays stiff. He's got no he's got like kind of no rhythm in his game. He's very stiff. We see him go to the rim very soft. He's missed dunks. He was missing dunks in the Olympics. He was missing dunks and layups in the regular season. So yes, he can play really well, but he doesn't always look like the star. And that's why people have been so confused. But I think what's wrong with the Celtics this season is they were playing around. They were playing like basically pickup all season long, and now we're waiting to see if they're going to repeat, because they at times during the regular season didn't look like they were going to win the title to me.
Did I pick up from you that you were watching the Celtic City?
Yeah, okay. I actually love it.
Did you notice that in the Modern Era episode, how much they spent on nostalgia and interweaving shots of past accomplishments, because the current team there isn't enough to talk about them?
Yes, there's not enough game-winning moments. Did you notice earlier in the season when Joe Mazzulla came out and said he doesn't watch the basketball today? He doesn't watch the league.
Yeah.
So he said that, and this is coming off of a game where all they were doing was shooting 3-point shots. Like, they have just been playing around with the NBA all season long. Like, hey, I don't want you guys to get injured. Just shoot high volume threes. This is going to be we're going to play horse all season. If we lose the game, it's okay. We know what we're going to do come postseason. But they've not been entertaining. They've been a bunch of crybabies as well. Jason Tatum cries about not getting the attention he deserves. Just get out there and play.
So how far are people picking? How far is this panel picking the Celtics to go?
I have them making it to the conference finals. My Knicks, they don't have enough to beat the Celtics. They don't have enough depth, unfortunately.
Yeah, I got them going to the finals.
You do?
I do. Especially with Giannis being out now. The East is, I don't know. Yeah, there's just no disrespect to the Knicks, but there's just no interesting teams right now, and that's with the Cavs playing out of their mind. And it's just, I don't know. The ESPN's not pushing it. The media's not pushing it. That's a great story as well. But yeah, I got Boston in the finals.
So be Cavs, Pacers, Knicks, Celtics this round. And Zay is live streaming today, Rockets, Warriors. That's what you're live streaming, right?
Yep, Game Chapman.
And who are you picking for that?
I'm gonna ride with my light-skinned brother, Steph Curry. I'm going to
salute,
lay the spirit bomb hopes on him. We gotta gather some energy for Steph Curry, because this will be an all-time blunder if they lose this 3-1 lead. You got Jimmy Butler, even though he might be a little sore. I get it, but you can't lose a 3-1 lead. I'm sorry, I'm not. You can't hide from a 3-1 lead now. We can't do that.
Yeah, it won't be good. That won't be good if they lose.
Can the NBA handle the Rockets being in the playoffs and not the Warriors? I mean, I don't even my sense of reality can't even accept that. You know, just from a basketball fan perspective.
Well, do you think that the Rockets versus Timberwolves would be more fun, size on size? Like, I'm already tired trying to imagine the Warriors taking on the Timberwolves.
No, yeah. And can I tell you why? Because I'd imagine Anthony Edwards and Draymond getting into it every other play. And AE just busting his ass the entire game, which I'd very much be looking forward to.
Interesting.
I mean, I think that the Wolves would rather play the Warriors than I don't know. That's a good question, man. I don't know. I think man, that's a good question.
Dom, you got a clear take on this?
I do. I would rather see me personally, I'd rather see the Rockets versus the Timberwolves, just because I think it's two young teams. Really, I feel like they're better matched from an athleticism perspective, and from also like just Ime Udoka, what he's been able to do with that Houston Rockets team. I would love to see them matched up against each other, but I think that the Timberwolves would probably rather have the Warriors. Yeah. Only because they're faster. To me, they have a more complete team than what the Warriors have. I think that they would have eliminated them in the first round too.
There you go, fanboys.
Before we move on real quick, before I forget this real quick, I want to throw out there that it's going to be interesting to see if they keep this Anthony Edwards being the king killer dethroner bullshit going into this next series, if that's not what's going to sell. Because if Steph goes out, all right, cool, that's probably your last all-time player on that side, right? Are they still going to keep this going if they beat the Rockets? Is he still the king killer? Is he still the LeBron killer then? Because at that point, you're going to see that it's just more marketing than anything else. When they beat the Lakers, the terrible ass Lakers, okay, well, now I'm the king killer. All right, well, let's see what happens when you play against a real legitimate team and how Anthony Edwards is marketed. That's going to be the true test to see if they want him to be the face of the league or not.
Yeah, I mean, Steph is the only one that's even worth talking about if he defeats Steph. I mean, is anyone really impressed that Kevin Durant at this stage in his career was defeated by Anthony Edwards?
Nope.
LeBron James, you better fucking beat LeBron James at this point.
Exactly. No. I don't find them to be impressive. It's the attitude. It's the mentality that he has. Like, hey, I'm trying to knock all these guys off. Their time is over. That's to me, that's the impressive piece. But yes, look at Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns are a disgrace last season, this season. So, yeah.
But you're right. You're right. The league is so passive now. You have to get excited when someone's willing to take the crown, even when the crown's being handed to you. A lot of these guys aren't taking it.
I mean, forget the will to compete. Where's the will to show up? We can't even get them. Their time in attendance is so poor. We might not be able to get these players to show up to play, let alone the will to compete.
By the way, LeBron fans, you heard what Dom said. She would rather see Timberwolves versus Rockets, which is a testimony that we're ready to see fresh blood. We're ready to see fresh players. She's a Bay Area person. I'm a Bay Area person. We aren't, as you accuse us of, desperately clinging to the past. We want to see good basketball. And you're not an old head, but you kind of are in our group, right?
I'm old enough.
Common sense.
I'm definitely
mentality.
I'll call myself an old head. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to label people without them.
I think I'll just say it, guys. I think every single era of basketball dating to the very first era is better than today.
Oh, definitely. But they're bigger, stronger, faster now. So I don't understand.
Well, LeBron said that they were bigger, stronger, and faster back then, but they weren't smart. They weren't smart. They didn't think the game.
Right.
And also, real quick, what's his face? Devin Booker needs to be scrutinized a little bit more. If I'm gonna do, light skin on light skin crime here, he's part of he seems to have an attitude issue, and he's so caught up in this Kobe Mamba mentality bullshit, just like Jason Tatum is, that he refused. I don't know. Like, it's weird to me that the Suns are that trash with that amount of offensive firepower. It doesn't make any sense. And nobody talks about Devin Booker being part of the problem, which is concerning to me.
I don't think he is part of the problem. How can we blame him? So for me, how can we blame him when he was part of the team that went to the finals? So he can play alongside a well-constructed team that has a good coach. Monty Williams, when he was there with DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, they were an extremely serviceable team with Devin Booker as that superstar. He should have been left and remained as the superstar with a great point guard like a Chris Paul, somebody that was a floor general. They shouldn't have traded Chris Paul. They should have left him there to run it back again, even though he's a serial loser. I get it. I get why they traded him, but they didn't get better. They didn't get better by picking up Tyus Jones, who's a lesser point guard than Chris Paul. And then Kevin Durant just lacks the leadership. So he brings a ton of superstar power to a team, but then he doesn't want to be part of those leadership discussions. He doesn't want to be vocal. And he wants to be this silent leader when that's not something that you can be. You have to reach back and lift up your other teammates. And he just doesn't do that.
Well,
Kevin Durant just needs to go back to Golden State, where you're a part of a team and a unit, a solid team where everybody just does their job. He's not meant for leadership, for corralling and being that star that galvanizes everybody. That's not who he is.
Yeah.
Would you guys welcome him back? Sorry, I wanted to ask the Bay Area guys. Would you guys welcome Kevin Durant back?
It's too late. I don't like the current Kevin Durant.
Yeah, it's too late for that.
A couple of years ago, maybe.
His attitude and how he talks, I think now is, he's in the LeBron. he's getting on my nerves just like LeBron. Every time he talks, every time he tweets, I just want him to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Dom, I like what you said because Chris Paul is a serial loser, man.
I call him CP0.
If Chris Paul played in the 80s, somebody would have gave him $150, man.
For a million %. I've never seen someone who's such a dirty player. I call him like a purse snatcher on the court, but that's also like can melt down. He literally becomes a shell of himself in a game 7 or any time when it's a critical game that needs to be won. I've never seen anything like it in my whole life.
He's been dirty since college.
Or he's hurt.
Even the injuries. I think the injuries is just part of the meltdown.
Super chat from SSH_77. Love this chat. I'm a late 80s and 90s basketball, all games, and want to shout out Basketball Time Machine. Great videos. Yeah, Basketball Time Machine, one of the godfathers of basketball videos. Maybe we can have him come on someday.
I love Basketball Time Machine. Really great.
Even basketball, one of the things I said about Basketball Time Machine is he's positive, happy energy. Even he finally had to say this LeBron garbage is out of control. It's got to go away. Even he finally hit his threshold.
I think everybody has a breaking point.
NM Jaya, y'all hurting me with this Celtics slander. Well, I don't know if anyone slandered it. We just aren't. Well, did we? I just don't
believe in it.
I just said they're just not interesting, which I guess is kind of a slander, but I don't know. They don't have an identity at all.
They really are interesting, and I do think they do have an identity. There's so many different things that we can talk about. I mean, Jaylen Brown, he was dating Kaiser Gondrezick. Gorgeous. I know that they broke up again, and there's just all the inter drama with them trying to figure out who's the actual star player of that team. There's a lot to talk about with the Celtics. The media will not allow it. The media will not allow us to talk about anybody else. The media must always talk about LeBron. These are the stories that must be pushed. If we talk about Jason Tatum, if he were trending, if we talked about him being the face of the league, then LeBron has to retire. If somebody else becomes the face of the league, whether it's in the media or anywhere, LeBron needs to retire. The farewell tour must start.
We talked earlier about somehow forcing LeBron to retire, or someone talked about the Lakers organization somehow strong arming him into retiring. You know who could strong arm LeBron into retiring is the media by not mentioning him again, because he couldn't live with that.
That, or really just really shining a light on the Labalco.
Yeah.
If they talked about that for just a couple of weeks, that would, I think, speed up a retirement.
For sure.
I'm going to take.
I want to come back to that. The Celtics, just teams in general, real quick. Teams in general being interesting. At some point, I want to come back and debate you on that, because I disagree completely, just based on kind of personalities and ball movement. But yeah, I want to come back to that for sure. But
right on ahead. Jason Tatum is dating LMA. They just had a baby. There's plenty of interesting things, whether it's in their real life. I mean, Jason Tatum's mom is harder than he is. There's so many things that we can talk about with the Celtics. We just don't, because those are not the stories that are being pushed.
I think Tatum is just one of the most uninteresting mute superstars that we've ever seen.
I don't know. His crying is pretty interesting to me. He's constantly crying to the media, "Why won't you pick me as MVP?" Wah, wah, wah. He's a crybaby. I would talk about him more often. It's just he doesn't trend because of the media.
Roger Hurt super chat says, "Is anyone talking about LeBron confirming what we all knew? He doesn't care about the future of his franchise. It's not his role. The franchise killer." I mean, most of us that live in reality saw this about him a long time ago, but is this something he said in the post game? It's not his role? Because I can't listen to him.
He's definitely alluded to these things. It's not his role, but yet Bronny's on the team and JJ Redick is the coach. So I think case closed, right?
Right. Yeah. And let's complain about the lack of depth while you use up a roster spot for Bronny.
Well, AOH, you said it like 20 minutes ago when they were talking to that college coach, how they were saying, well, probably like an hour and 20 minutes ago, saying how he had nothing to do with that decision, but in the same breath saying, yeah, I gave him a call and gave him my wishes. That whole thing was a misdirect, and you're fucking stupid if you can't like parse through that. Because
what's there to parse? He fucking contacted a guy. I
agree. I agree with you, but it's no different. It's no different than the Nico Harris and Rob Pelinka just happening to be photographed talking about a super secret fucking trade that's going to shake the foundations of the NBA. They just happen to get a picture of them talking about it right then in that moment in this public area. It's all bullshit. It's all media driven, and this is why us old heads get upset. Is because when we're trying to tell you, well, maybe it's where there's smoke, there's fire. You can follow this pattern of bullshit and literally predict what's going to happen. I mean, everybody in this room, everybody in this chat predicted exactly, almost to a T, what would happen.
If the Warriors
were crazy and hate it.
Question for the panel: if the Warriors had drafted Dalton Connect, how much playing time would Dalton Connect be getting in the playoffs?
Probably much more.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I think that they would find minutes for him.
Yeah, I think so. He's not small either, you know. He's
and what's embarrassing about that is he was an actual real first round pick. I think at the 17th pick, they picked Dalton Connect. He was a legitimate draft pick, and he gets played the same amount of minutes as Bronny, 2 minutes or so. And then he comes in and scores, whereas Bronny's left on 0%.
Dom, they said he was the future of the team. He was the future of the team, and then they traded him and then rescinded the trade.
Oh,
and he's supposed to sit there. And he's supposed to sit there with a fucking smile on his face and set screens for Bronny James. Like, these are human beings. Like,
I know. And he was so happy. He was so happy to go to Charlotte. And when they brought him back, he was just deflated.
Oh, was he? I didn't know that.
He was very happy. He said, I'm just grateful to be going to play basketball, super excited for the opportunity. When he came back from Charlotte, he was upset. He said, like, this whole thing is weird. I was traded and now I'm back here. Like, I just want to play basketball. And he was basically saying I would have had a better opportunity in Charlotte to play because he would have.
You should have said that.
And so then, and he came back, and they wound up giving him more minutes, and I think they started him in a game alongside Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, and he went off for 30 points. All three of them scored 60 combined, and they were calling them the Snow Time Lakers.
Wasn't that against Portland though, the last game?
It was, but they were still being called the Snow Time Lakers. Bronny didn't score that 30 points in an NBA game. It was Dalton Connect.
I agree.
And yet he's being given 2 minutes of play.
I can't believe that what you're saying is true. I know it is, but it just sounds unbelievable.
It sounds like a movie, right?
We can't make it up. Honestly, it's so crazy that you would think.
Top Dog says, besides the Malice and the in the Palace, what do y'all think is the best fights in NBA history? I don't want to give too much glory to fights.
Violence.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of funny moments. So greatest fights, funny moments, I would say. I always think it's a funny moment when Kobe Bryant got two-pieced by Chris Childs. I think Chris Childs also hit Michael Jordan. So these are just funny things. When Latrell Sprewell choked his coach, those were some funny. It's not that's what I'm saying. Like NBA history fights, like, to me, the greatest, if we're going to talk about like the most violent time in the NBA history, we have to go back to the 80s. So that's what we really need to look at.
The correct answer, I think, what's his face getting dragged on Alonzo Mourning's leg. Jeff Van Gundy getting dragged around on Alonzo Mourning's leg, I think, would be the best fight in the history of the NBA.
I don't think there wasn't
one technical, not one flagrant, and you got this man just carrying this dude by his leg, just swinging him around. That's when they were men.
I know. I guess they're not men anymore. With the nail polish in the handbags.
Nail polish, nail polish,
and the dresses.
They pretty much.
That's why I don't think SGA can be the face of the league, because he does weird shit like that, and he's a free throw merchant. That's why he can't be the face of the league.
Do we think that Russell Westbrook hit as many 3-point shots as he's worn dresses?
Oh, jeez.
That is a low.
That's the Russ I
low
blow. Russ come out here.
Jeez, that
was rough. His back shoulders. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was coming from a deep seated place of something.
Dom doesn't like Westy.
When guys started,
no, he
You
might
know what
be.
it is? I'm rooting for him. Since he left the Lakers, I've been rooting for him, but we just can't ignore the fact that has been god awful.
I think when the caller asked if him playing well is going to boost his all-time position, he's inconsistent. He'd have to become consistent because you need to put that narrative to rest, first of all. But he has so much to overcome with what happened in LA, not because he was bad, but because the whole media jumped on board, shitting on him like every fucking day. Every day they just shit on him because it was the way to go. And he wasn't playing worse than LeBron, which is what's crazy. I did a bunch of videos.
They were playing the same. Could you believe in that Western Conference Finals that year, the same year that they traded Westbrook, LeBron literally shot multiple shots off the side of the backboard, airballed. It was like he was blind. It was like he was blind, like he couldn't see the basket. He literally was playing like Westbrook. I remember Skip Bayless calling him Westbrookian.
Yes, exactly.
He's almost like Westbrookian.
Though, right? He played all 82 that season that everyone was giving him shit, though, if I remember correctly.
So he played all 82 games, I think, the season prior, but the next season he took a couple of games, like when he was traded from the Lakers, like he sat because he was going to get benched. He was injured because he had to come off the bench one game, but he still played more games that year, I think, than LeBron James and Anthony Davis combined.
Oh yeah. He did.
I remember him trying to be the one who was encouraging. He was the one who had the positive attitude. He tried to keep their heads up, and they were like, "Go fuck yourself." Because we know.
Yeah, you remember that?
Oh yeah, of course I do. Of course I do. But just imagine what we went over here. That LeBron James was as bad or worse as Westbrook, and Westbrook is the one who somehow is going to have to dig himself out of the hole of that year.
And he lost money. He doesn't even have regular contracts anymore. He's got veteran minimums and stuff.
That's true.
Wow. Westbrook is getting $4 million.
Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it helped remind him that he's here for basketball.
Well, did you notice the triple double stopped being as important once Russell started, averaging one person, for an entire 3 seasons in a row?
Well, they stopped being important when they stopped being important to him. To him personally going out there and getting them. We're seeing him play serviceable basketball, but they haven't stopped being important to the media and to the media in general. So whatever player we want to prop up in the news, we're looking at their stats. All we look at is points, rebounds, and assists now. And that's crazy. We don't look at turnovers. We don't look at shooting percentage. We don't look at anything else other than points, rebounds, and assists, all to prop up these players.
And the plus minus, which nobody gets.
Let's get to some super chats. All of a sudden they're coming in. Time to catch up. Oh, and the one that's on the screen with the Malice in the Palace. What my big regret with the Malice in the Palace is that one dude that was standing toe to toe with a pro athlete got cold clocked from the side instead of getting to see what. I was curious if that guy was going to be able to actually take on an NBA player because he didn't look scared. And then what was that? Steven Jackson came flying in from the side.
Came in with a sliding punch.
Anyway, let's move on from that. I just threw my.
So if that had happened to me, I would have laid there and not moved through the entire altercation and then sued the fuck out of him. I would have told them I had whiplash, I had a concussion, I have CTE before you can even tell me that I do. I'm dead serious. I would tell them I forget everything. You're gonna hit me in the face in front of all these people. I'm just standing here. Yeah, no, we're out. You're broken. I'm rich, and I'll win no matter what.
Logan says, hope Luka leaves and joins a superstar big. Thanos says, Dalton would have been the 6th man. He's top 10 or 5 talent that fell to the Lakers. He's better than Reeves. But
I don't know if I'd go that far.
I don't know about. Well, I mean,
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Well, we benefited from the referees, so it's like we don't know who's really Austin Reeves besides what we've seen in the playoffs.
Yeah,
the flopping. Yeah, you're right about that.
He does hit shots sometimes. Where I mean, how many times has Austin Reeves made you say, "God damn it"?
Dalton cannot. He's not on Austin Reeves level.
But he's a rookie.
Yeah,
he looked
right.
Like
I was gonna say he hasn't been given the opportunity.
What I'll say though about Dalton Connect is he has a real NBA player's body. Austin Reeves does not. So I have more faith in Dalton Connect at long term as a player than I do Austin Reeves.
Even when Dalton got blocked on that attempted dunk, he showed that he wasn't afraid to go try and throw the hammer down on people.
Exactly. I think that he can defend better than Austin Reeves. He's more athletic. He can shoot. I think he can shoot better. I think he can do everything better than Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, to me, turned into a pumpkin in the postseason. And it's crazy because he's supposedly their closer.
Yeah, it looks more natural with Dalton Connect than Austin Reeves. I'll say that.
Exactly.
I would like Austin Reeves to have a crashing to reality moment and get traded to a team where he actually – where defense is focused on him and he doesn't get the benefit of the whistle. I'd love to see him go to the paint, flop, do a cartwheel, fall over, and then look up and see that everyone's already down the other side of the court because they don't give a fuck if he falls or not. That's what I want to see because his arrogance it's almost worse than LeBron's because at least LeBron, never mind. I'm not going to say anything positive. It's not warranted. It's not earned. He's only getting these calls, these benefits because he's on a LeBron team and he walks around like he's king shit. And it bothers me because it's like, yo, go play, go to, I don't know. He probably do okay in Detroit. Right. But then they're going to call him like a real player and he's not going to get these free throws.
LeBron made him. Oh, go ahead. I think we're saying the same thing.
LeBron gave Austin his seal of approval, and Austin's been able to get away with flopping ever since, foul baiting ever since.
Exactly. Yep. He gave him a certain level of power. Essentially, he's the player version of JJ Redick. So LeBron empowered him. He empowered him just like he does JJ, and he also is one of his minions. He goes out there spreading lies. He lied. He said that LeBron told him that Wilt Chamberlain never scored the 100. They talk about it and they say that never really happened. Yes. He said. Can
you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Austin Reeves goes around spreading LeBron James's lies for him, just like JJ Redick. So he's the player. He's just the player version of JJ, who's been empowered and given a job by LeBron. So he's been promoted. He's been promoted to his position on the team by LeBron.
Yeah, kind of agree. Roger Hurt says the best fight, LeBron James versus Stephen A. Smith. That epitomizes this weak ass era. Patrick says Rodman is the only guy that can wear a dress and still be intimidating on the court and out hustle everyone. Draymond would be on his best behavior. I can't add or take away from that.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis Rodman was definitely a menace with that dress on. Let's not keep it. Let's not lie.
It's all very. Aren't the dresses and the nail polish? It's very cyclical. This was something that's always happening, but at least Dennis Rodman still knew how to win. He wasn't doing this and losing.
And he was banging Carmen Electra. I mean, it's like a trade-off. And Madonna. That's like a trade-off. He's like, all right, I'm going to wear a dress and I'm going to get my belly button tattooed, but I'm banging Madonna and Carmen Electra.
See, for me, it's the losing, right? So the dresses, the nail polish, the purses doesn't necessarily make them less masculine to me. It makes them just like, to me, you're focused on what you're going to wear coming through the tunnel and not winning the game.
Rodman was the only one. So you could say that it was a mind fuck back then. Like people are like, what is this dude is he gonna pull some freaky shit on me out here today?
He was also kissing people. So like he was blowing kisses to like Sean Kemp and things of that nature to throw them off and to upset them for sure.
Right. You can argue that it was a mind game with Rodman. Today, if everyone's wearing a dress, well, what do you say now?
It's a fashion statement.
Panel, how much energy do you all have? Shall we wrap it up strong, or do you guys want to keep and call it an afternoon, or do you want to keep going?
I'm on so many supplements right now. I'm probably good for another hour or so.
God, you on the balcony?
Yeah.
I actually have to walk my dog.
Good for you. You should.
Guys, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me. I hope to be here. Are you going next Sunday as well? I can come back next Sunday if you need me.
I think we will.
All right.
Great.
I do got to get out of here soon because
you got a big day of live streaming.
I'm
gonna be back on here. I got to get energized, So
Big Zay, I'm gonna be watching. I want to see some belts to ass with you.
Okay, for sure. I definitely I think we could definitely have some guests on. So let me know if y'all want to join the stream. Speen, AOA.
Yeah, tell your cousin I need my gift.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna see if my cuz want to get on and talk anything other but LaFody James because he
I'll
tells
drop
me.
my contact into the private chat for you guys.
Oh, for sure.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks all who called in and left super chats. Appreciate you very much. Oh, we got one more. Don't let me just a messenger. Two more. Sorry. Let me acknowledge these guys. KAJ, let Magic be the man. Sacrificing stats. Oh, obviously Cream. Won 5 rings in 10 years. He knew it had to happen. LeBron, not smart enough to learn from history. Oh, but he's a student of the game. Just listen to his podcast.
He's a historian. Didn't you guys know that?
Luca lives in a van down by the river. No, that's me.
Hey, AOH, before we go, I have to send you this clip of LeBron and his group. They're in a room with 2 Chainz, and they had convinced LeBron that he had come up with the idea of a deluxe album. And he was literally writing out what a deluxe album is, and it's literally a room full of yes men nodding emphatically. And one of his boys actually writes the word deluxe on the board and underlines it. It is the closest you'll see to yes men in real time doing exactly what they do. And this is 2 Chainz, a platinum selling artist, not telling LeBron like everything you're saying we already know. They're co-signing it and marking it as brand new. Remind me to send you that. I meant to mention that earlier.
Just make a video about it.
Done.
Or we'll do it together, whatever you prefer. All right, everybody. Have a great Sunday. Good luck, Warriors. And yet we still want to somehow see the Rockets versus the Timberwolves. All right. We'll see everybody next week.
All righty, guys. Have a good one.
See y'all later.
Bye-bye.